it's a positive film. It has heroes and villains, and that it essentially is a fun movie to watch. It's been a long time since people have been able to go to the movies and see a sort of straightforward, wholesome, fun adventure.
Well, it's a fantasy. It's not science fiction so much as it is space fantasy. And it's about people. It's finally about people and not finally about science.
The story, when you actually put it into words, is only so much nonsense to hang a great visual experience onto. It's the stuff that fairy tales are made of.
Sort of boiling down religion into a very basic concept. The fact that there is some deity or some power or some force that sort of controls our destiny works for good and also works for evil.
Marvellous, healthy innocence. Great pace, wonderful to look at, full of guts, nothing unpleasant. I mean, people go bang bang and people fall over and are dead, but, no horrors. A sort of wonderful freshness about it, kind of like a wonderful fresh air.
It's got whatever you want it to be. It's pure entertainment. It's like a roller coaster ride, and it can be interpreted as long as you enjoy it, which is the intention.
Hello and welcome back to Generation Skywalker, and this is the 25th episode of The Modern Way. Now, after several turbulent months, The Modern Way is finally back. We haven't recorded A Modern Way since the 13th of August 2023, and it's the 30th of July today, so just short of a year, way too long. And joining me, I've got the most beautiful men. I just can't describe them. I've got Peter Lee with me. Petey Weedy, good evening.
Good evening, Stu. How you doing?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. We celebrated your 50th birthday on Friday.
We did.
All of us, actually. We all got together in London, and Pete was out of control. He was out of control. He was like, I wasn't happy. He did some graffiti. He denied our love of some of his co-workers. But, yeah, good evening, Pete. It was good evening.
It was good, yeah.
Too many already.
I don't remember. I've lost the last couple of hours of it, but the leading up to that was very good.
It was good. I've got with me Daniel Burgess. Good evening, Dan.
Hello there.
How are you?
Right.
Been a long while, Modern Way, hasn't it?
It has been a year.
Because last time we recorded, you were quite in on modern, and then I spoke to you about 2 months ago. Oh, I'm too cool for modern now. I'm a vintage only boy, like that again, weren't you? You did.
Oh, you weren't even on the last Modern Way we did. Were you on the last one we did? I don't even think you was on there.
The last Modern Way we did was the 13th of August, and I was definitely on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting excited about Christmas figures.
Probably, and they're releasing. I did buy one. I can't remember what it was. I thought I'd buy a couple each year and just build it up. It's looking quite swanky actually. And we got Jez. Good evening, Jez.
Good evening, Stu. Good evening, lads. Good evening, everyone.
If you could describe the state of Pete on Friday, how would you describe him?
Well, this is a family show, and I'm not going to do that. But it was most entertaining. However, I think come the end of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning, we were all in a bit of a state. But it was a good night. And Stu, that was such a great impression of Dan just now. I was completely confused. I didn't know if you were you or Dan. So, yeah, I think that's exactly how it went down.
Because I've been working on impressions during my hiatus, but yeah. Now, like I just said, it has been nearly a year. There's no way we can go through every release or what's been announced in that time that's happened in modern. I mean, things get announced all the time. We're recording this as San Diego's going on, so that will probably be on the next show. But so we're going to kind of just dabble in a bit odds and sods from the different ranges of toys that we like from the modern world, and just find our feet in this show, and we'll come back probably next show out. So last time we were together, we were all I think we all had the odd bit of modern going on. I know hot toys were pretty popular among some of us. I think Pete we were trying to talk into getting one, and Jez was on his I'm going to get one of every vintage collection card fronts, and I know that's been ongoing. Pete and your Lego issues with the rain and whatnot, and whether you could really get out there and get some. But I know you're a big Lego man. We were all over the place. I just want to ask you what your modern collecting has been like for the last 12 months. We'll go to Jez because I know that he's been pretty focused with his vintage collection line.
Yeah, because it's great. So I wanted something from each of the vintage collection range carded wise. So I wasn't interested so much in the 2-packs and whatnot. But if it, if I had a Rebels logo, get that. Then I want an Ahsoka logo, Mandalorian, etc., etc., etc. So it's grown, and every time something has come out, I've managed to get it. So I'm waiting for the Acolyte. The only one I don't have, because the Acolyte's not out yet, the only one I don't have is Power of the Force Yak, which came with the katana. So if you think about it, there has been loads. There's been Knights of the Old Republic stuff, which has come out. Ewoks, there was a twin pack, the Galaxy of Heroes. So there has been lots and lots of different ones. I've got one example of sort of carbonized, one example of retro, etc. But from a timeline point of view, and I am a little bit OCD about the timeline order. So they start off with Phantom Menace and go then all the way through, a few different types of Clone Wars. But when the Acolyte one comes, I'm going to have to shift like all 35 different ones to the right slightly. But it's really nice. I like it. And I think aesthetically, some of the logos are a little bit lazy, but aesthetically, I think it looks really smart.
Are you quite particular on what figure you get from each kind of like project from Star Wars?
In some respect, yeah.
Because I was with you at the weekend and we were looking at what Acolyte's releases, and the only two are Osha and May, aren't they?
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame.
So would you just go with one of them, or would you wait for something like the Stranger, or like?
I've got about 8 to 10 upgrades where I've done that. I've gone for one because I want one, and nice. Then when a better one comes out, I'll get the better one. So I'm sat on a few which I have swapped out, and I'll move those on it like an Echo, or just give them away at Father's Front or something.
That's a nice way of doing it, actually, yeah. Because you could probably, most vintage collection, you'll always get your money back on anyway. Most of them hold their price, don't they, when they're current?
Yeah. So I've really, really enjoyed that. So what have I got at the moment? I've got a spare New Hope, spare Mando, spare Retro Mando, Expanded Universe, Return of the Jedi, Jedi Survivor, Droids, Ewoks, Galaxy of Heroes. Yeah, I've got a few spares, but
nice.
It's good fun. Yeah.
And also, I don't think you'd ever built one before, but I know that you built a Star Wars Lego and got into it, and I'm pretty sure you've dabbled again since that first one, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. So I've had a bit of a tough year. As we know individually, we've all had some issues and stuff like that. And my dad passed away, and amongst all the other things which we've been dealing with. So I was just having a bit of a low weekend, which I'm sure is entirely imaginable. And I was just like, yeah, got a little bit of birthday cash. Let me go out, and I just got myself a Lego Falcon. Now, not the top tier one. This was about £70 or something like that, and it was a really lovely build. I find it really therapeutic. I've mentioned this, I think, on the last The Modern Way, that just sitting down, unplugging, forgetting about Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, just sitting down and unplugging, and just there's something just nostalgic, childlike, just I don't know, just take great pleasure from it. And I would do loads more if it wasn't just for the lack of space.
Yeah, they're nice.
The more vintage collection. And the other thing, right, so when we were walking off Saturday morning, the morning after the night before, and we were in London, I just went to Forbidden Planet, and every time we go to an event, there's just racks and racks of those bobbleheads and Funko Pops in there. I've never had one, and I bought one. I bought one in Forbidden Planet for $4.99. Luke Skywalker and Grogu. And it's just an example of that in my collection, full of examples of different types of modern Star Wars, because I'm trying to get one of each different type of packaging. And $4.99. Bargain, folks. What a great weekend.
Lovely, mate. Lovely. So you've kept your hand in modern while we've been off grid, so to speak. What about you, Dan, then? Because you definitely said what I just said in the intro. I don't feel a bit too cool now for it.
So I haven't bought a lot, I'll be honest. I think I've got 4 Hot Toys on pre-order, and that hasn't changed from since we last recorded, I think I had 4 on pre-order then, so I've been waiting for the same 4 for a year. But we will talk about that later. In terms of other things, I've had some things gifted to me, like Christmases and birthdays. So I've got some Tiki and some Lego. So I got the Commander Cody and Rex Lego helmets for, I think, a Christmas and one for my birthday. And I've got some Tikis. I've got the Snow Trooper Tiki, the Dark Trooper, the TIE Fighter Pilot, and the Ahsoka. And they're things that were all bought for me. And things that I've bought myself, I'm struggling, to be honest with you. The only thing that I can come up with is that the Leia Tiki mug, but we'll talk about that later on. And the Matt Ferguson Phantom Menace 25th anniversary print. And I think that's it. I can't think of anything else I've bought. Got nothing on pre-order other than those Hot Toys.
So you're not off grid with modern, just scaled it back.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Okay. Nothing. Well, we'll get to it at the end, won't I? Well, I'll ask you if anything's tempted you while you've been researching this show. And come over to you, Pete. You must have something.
No, I haven't bought a single thing. I've sold a lot of it, but I haven't bought anything in. I think it's come up, we've talked about it before, but when I hadn't bought any modern, and when I got back into sort of collecting, I thought I'm not going down that road again. And then the Mando came out and the vintage collection came out on those, and then a year into that, I was like up to head height with figures that I didn't particularly, I liked a lot, but then all of a sudden you just sort of run out of space, and it's just like, where's this going? And they're never going to stop. Yeah, I put a pause on it, and the minute I'd missed a few, I was kind of, I lost my way with it a bit, and then decided that no, I don't want it. A vintage piece just means so much more, and I spent a lot of money on vintage in the last year, and I think given the space constraints and sort of money for vintage stuff that I want to sort of add to that side of it, lots of things have been tempting me. I keep an eye on it, I keep looking, and all the releases and that, I keep an eye on what's going on, but no, I haven't added anything, which is quite a surprise. Normally I do odd sort of 1 or 2 vintage collection bits. That's the one that I mainly like. I still like the Kubricks, the little Medicom.
Oh, I like those.
The carded ones. There's still quite a few of those I'm eyeing up, but they very rarely come up. You never see them at shows. 1 or 2 on eBay, like massively overpriced. But that would be the line I'd probably push into. If I could find them, I'd certainly buy some more of those. I've got about 10 of them, but I'd like to buy more. Just the carded ones. I'm not so worried about the baggy ones. That's it. So I've still got a lot of how many have I got? I've got about 15 or so vintage collection left. Probably sort of just trimming them. No, there's a few bits just announced which may tempt me back in, but who knows? But no, very nice.
Still no Hot Toy?
No, didn't tell me. You were convinced you would, but you didn't.
Well,
convince me.
I
don't want to. I'm not staking that fire again. But you can try. I think you'd do well to get me to buy one.
It's going to happen tonight.
I was looking at them. I was looking at the show notes. I was looking at the ones that I think they're just. What's the word I came out with? They're too fantasy. They're too sort of down that world for me, I think. So all the ones I do like are the non-sort of human ones. So I think the human ones are a bit too sort of, I don't know, a bit too detailed.
Okay, so the Hot Toys, which pride themselves in being movie accurate, too accurate for you. There's no pleasing some people. Anyway.
I'm a Star Wars collector, and I think Star Wars toys are too fantasy.
Yeah, and they look too good.
Yeah.
Is he still drunk?
Well, you know what I mean? They're a bit too, I don't know, fantastical, if that's even a word. They're just a bit too Madame Tussauds-y.
Interesting. Well, I think you just need that experience of having one, opening it, setting it up, and just... Craig always said it was like opening a new iPhone, the whole experience of the way the box opened and everything to do with it. And I think without having done that, perhaps you don't realise just how beautiful they are.
I appreciate how beautiful they are and the work and where that world is at. It is phenomenal, but they're just
a bit too.
Maybe not for me. How many have you opened, Stu? Of your unopened ones?
So I think I counted how many I had, and I was up to about 21. I think I have got actually open 5, 6, but that's not because I don't like them. I don't know what it is. It's just I'm getting there. Actually, I've actually taken the Tuscan. This is impressive. I took the Tuscan Raider, which I got about 18 months ago. I've taken it out the shipper, and it's now in the box near my desk. So I'm probably going to open the cellophane tomorrow. So yeah.
What about you though? So apart from all these Hot Toys which you just leaving the shipper. Have you bought anything in the last year?
So I'm up to date with my hot toys. All my pre-orders, which I've had on order for a long while, I had like 3 come through in the space of about 6 weeks. So that brought me up to date. So actually, I've got none on pre-order. Did you know what? Probably picked up the odd piece. I picked up a couple of helmets and probably picked up a couple of bits of Lego, but not a lot. Not a lot. I am, because I'm scaling back generally, I'm now wondering what to do with my shelf space. So I have got a couple of ideas, which I'm going to run by you boys at the end of the show. So we'll go through there later. Right. So now we had a question emailed to our Generation Skywalker page from Dougie Bravo, talking about modern figures which contain batteries. Now, Dougie was asking, do you think we should open figures with batteries to either remove or replace the batteries, or leave sealed to retain future value? Now, I know, apart from Jez's vintage collection here, we're not mint on card modern collectors, but we can still offer an opinion on this. So what I'm asking you boys to discuss is your thoughts on this, because I'm aware that some of these ones you press, I only said at the weekend, my Jar Jar Pez dispenser, which you normally used to be able to press the button and his tongue would come across and get the Pez, my batteries have literally just run out of that. And do I open that up to replace the batteries so you get that beautiful Jar Jar motion in his beautiful, the way he moves, that kind of artistic way? So boys, over to you.
Did you say Ducky or Dougie?
Dougie Bravo. It's a great name, isn't it?
What you said, Ducky. I was like, what? Gone northern all of a sudden. I remember I had the Attack of the Clones R2-D2. I think it was, when it's R2's in Attack of the Clones and in Padme's apartment, and those insect things come through the window, and it's like a droid alarm. You press the front panel on him, he starts making all bleeping noises. I gave that to Harrison to play with a few years ago, and when he took it out of the packet, it had like a plastic tab across the batteries. So I think they're pretty safe. I think, well, certainly with the Hasbro stuff, if they're putting those little plastic tabs in to stop the batteries connecting, I think you'll be all right.
Well, is he asking from a sort of a safety battery exploding point of view, or just a display, or
probably the leaking batteries? That's probably the concern.
So okay, let me ask you this then, and I know that the value isn't the same discussion, okay, but to someone investing in a modern figure might be that value as a vintage collector. Say you had a vintage figure that had that chance of leaking, would you think about opening it then, or just take that risk? If you've gone and spent $1,000 on a ship or something that has batteries in it, but if you open that box and remove the batteries, you preserve it, what would you do?
So I've got this really weird thing where I know Toy Story isn't real, right? We all know Toy Story isn't real, but I still sort of affectionately look at my figures like, oh, right? And, every now and then give them a little bit of a clean, because I think I like that, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to psychoanalyze me or anything. But
do you imagine them being trapped in their packaging and wanting to get out and just staring longingly out at the outside world, and they can't escape?
No, not so much, because I think there's an element of pride in your job. And if they're mint on card, it's all right. That I don't mind so much. But you imagine if they're so run down and so knackered. So I've got the Darth Vader Star Wars Celebration thing in packaging. So first of all, thanks ever so much to Dougie for sending in that question, because I think it's awesome. But this Star Wars Celebration Vader, still in its packaging, it's got a little button. You press the button and you hear like three different quotes. And mine is starting to sound more deep, more run down than James Earl Jones normally does. And I just put myself in the sort of, in the shoes of this Darth Vader character, thinking all he wants is a new battery, and then he'll feel so much better. And I think it's right that, I used to enjoy looking at this packaging, this carded figure, this packaged figure, and pressing the button. It doesn't sound as good anymore. So I think the toy would like me to open it up and give it a new battery. So I'm all up for that. I think that's fine. And when Stu said about retaining its value, these things aren't that expensive anyway. So I don't think, I'm saying anything like, there's no heresy here when I just say, for my own personal benefit, I'm quite happy to sort of break the seal on the back. I'm not resealing it or doing anything dodgy. Quite clearly, I would have opened it and put a new battery. I think that's entirely cool. And the batteries generally have dates on, so you're not trying to trick anyone with repro weapons or anything. It's completely different.
Do you think, though, certain collectors, because I have been in like Powder Force 2 groups where they think it's sacrilege if you open up those figures now. Now, do you think if you replace the batteries and put it back in its box, say it was a box ship, would people have a problem with the batteries being replaced? We have seen so many like micro things that get changed, and the uproar. I mean, bleaching of figures, all this kind of stuff. I know that's a completely different topic, but
on the toys that need batteries, they haven't got the batteries in place. So there's only batteries in place on toys which have got like the window where you can press the button or so when it's more of a part of the display, like the blasters.
But in modern toys, that's quite a few though, isn't it?
It is, but I think if it's part of the display, you want to leave it. Like I had those two, they did it like a hand blaster in orange, which was the original Wild, and a Stormtrooper blaster, and you could pull the trigger and it would make the sound. And they were like 20 years and they were still making it. I think they've only sort of stopped pretty recently. But if you go into that, you're never going to get that back.
I had the, the money boxes, the Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, and you clipped them all together. And
brilliant.
Yeah, mine leaked. So they were in the packaging. They had a button, press here, and they leaked all through the bottom of the box. So they will, things like those where you can. I mean, they're 25 years old now. So, and they I think they're either AAA or AA batteries. They did leak, and they ruined it. Actually, I chucked them all away. So it's definitely something in it. But I think the action figure, if we're talking action figures, and they've got those little, I don't know, what do you call them? The little batteries, the little like calculator batteries, I always call them, the little flat batteries. They don't tend to leak as much. Certainly that R2 I had was absolutely fine.
So what are we voting on here? So you think it's all right to replace, Dan?
Yeah.
Open and replace, or keep it still?
I think if you're that worried, I think you should just do it and get it. have bigger things to worry about, maybe. just open it up and replace the batteries, or take them out and put them back in the packet.
Jez is opening because he hates the thought of Stinky Pete being locked up in a box.
Yeah, it's hugely different to U grading and stuff like that. It's stuff like U grading. You are ripping something off of the packaging for a different purpose to try and chase the biggest grade and all that, and that's an entirely different thing. You use the term sacrilege. I don't think so. I mean, I know I've heard of people who U grade in the past who say, "Oh, it doesn't matter what I do with my toys," and I don't want to be thought of in the sort of same way. But this is a toy which is meant to be played with in its packaging because of that button there, and if you can't use that feature anymore, and you open it up carefully, you put in a 2024 battery, then I think that's fine. And yeah, the toy will be happy.
And Pete, you were the opposite to the other two. You think keep it in there?
Yeah, I think so. If it's an integral part of the display, I wouldn't ruin it. To like those blasters look nice sealed and just housed within the box and a sort of open front. And the minute you sort of open that and cut all the tabs, you're never getting that back. So I think from what I've had, I would just leave it as is. If it starts leaking and it's a Jar Jar Binks that goes mad every time you walk it, then I'd probably quite enjoy throwing that in the skip.
What point would it have stopped being cool? So if I get my Darth Vader figure at Star Wars Celebration, whichever one that was, I can't remember which Star Wars Celebration it was, but at what stage after that Star Wars celebration does it turn sacrilege? Because if I open it straight away, if I take it out of the packaging straight away and just play with it, that's not sacrilege, because that's what was meant to have happened. People are a lot more savvy now. Back in the day, people weren't buying carded figures in 1977 and 1978, or 1978 and 1979. People weren't buying carded figures then. The majority of people weren't, to leave them on the packaging because of value and because of collecting. Majority, 99% of people were buying them because they were kids and they were ripping them off the packaging. So now, people look at all the original vintage stuff, and they do say sacrilege because there's a finite amount left on the packaging, mint on card. Whereas nowadays, people are buying these things to keep them as they are. So we're not in short supply, people. This is something completely different. There's probably more sealed than there are open. So just chill out. If I want to change my batteries, let me change my battery.
I'm sure many people are sitting there thinking, I wish Jez would change his battery sometime. Right. Well, there you go. Perhaps we'll ask that question on the socials, and we'll see what the consensus feel on the next show.
You're out of your box.
Let's get into the toy range. Like I said, we're not going to go depth with these. We're going to have a general discussion, maybe pick out one or two bits that have come out. But first of all, now I didn't even know about these until probably a month ago when I was walking around Tesco's. And that is the Epic Hero series. Now, apparently it was launched in January this year and it had not been officially announced. So when you go and listen to other modern podcasts or modern websites, they're saying that they just appeared in store. There was no kind of build up for these figures. All of a sudden, we just had this new card back, new range, just there on the shelves. General discussion. What are they? Is this range needed? Why have we got this? Well, Dan, why have we got this new range? What is the purpose behind it? Can I ask you that first?
Well, it looks like it's a replacement for the Mission. Is it the Mission Fleet or the Mission series? It was the Mission Fleet, wasn't it? So they had the small like dumpy figures that came out with small vehicles a few years ago, and I think they're a replacement for that. So it's kind of a budget range. So you haven't got where you've got your 15, 16, 17 pound vintage collection and 25 odd pound now for a black series. This is the budget range, 3 3/4 inch. I know you're going to argue that they're 4 inch, but I think that's just the way they've marketed it. 5 points of articulation, basic figures for youngsters, even though they are, was it £10 each a day? And then
so they
15
retail
for the deluxe.
Basic figures were $9.99, deluxe were $14.99, but I'm aware Tesco's have already got the basics down to £6.40 and the deluxe down to, I think it was £10.50.
Okay. I was in the entertainer today and they had I think it was the Bo-Katan, and that was £12, I think it was.
Right.
So, yeah, that was a deluxe one.
So you just raised it. These figures are meant to stand 4 inches tall, but you think they're still 3 3/4 inch tall?
I think it's just the way they bill it as 4 inch. They just bill everything that's that scale. It's still the same scale as a 3 3/4 inch. I think it's just the way they build it as a 4 inch. I've had one in hand today, and it looks just like a normal 3 3/4 inch figure to me.
Right. And no one else has got any other argument detail on that, have they?
I think I saw it in type somewhere online at 3 3/4. I don't know why they wouldn't do a 4 against a 3 3/4, would they? I don't think there's enough difference for them to.
Wonder why they advertise it as that then.
I think it's like a collector's term, 3 3/4 inch.
Yeah.
Oh, now Jez has got one in his hand. Is that the new? Is that them? You need to talk as well, mate. There's no point just waiting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So you've gone and bought some.
Well, I saw Dan put a picture on earlier on, and you guys had said about Tesco's, and I was like, well, I'm driving back home tonight from work, nip into the old Tesco's, have a little look, and lo and behold, yeah, found one, found two, found a few, in fact, £6.40, and I had to double check because you called these the Epic Heroes series, right?
Yep.
And if I turn my camera on, right, so again, I'll say very, very basic. Look at it. Nothing saying Epic Heroes there immediately. Turn it around. Nothing saying Epic Heroes. And on the side, it's only when you turn it around there.
Weird.
Just at the bottom, it says Epic Heroes. So that would have been lost.
So interestingly, Jez, you've just turned. So Jez has just turned the card round front to back, and on the side of the bubble at the bottom, it's got this Epic Hero logo. Now, next to it, it's got measurements of sizes. I've just noticed on there. It's got an outline of the figure.
Yep.
And it's got an arrow from top to bottom, and it's actually stating on that picture 4 inches. Jez, I'm going to ask you to do something now, okay? Have you got a tape measure or a ruler to hand?
I'm in my bedroom, of course. Tape measure.
Do you think you could give that a rough measurement? The Stormtrooper. He's got the Stormtrooper in hand. Let's use that as a good base.
Well, let's face it. If any of them are going to be 4 inches, it's going to be the Stormtrooper, isn't it? Not Luke, because he's a little short for a Stormtrooper. See what I did there, folks. And so I bought 2, so I could open one now. And I'm going to keep one open in my collection room. So I think I'm going to open the Stormtrooper. Shall I do that? Yeah, right.
Dan's really nervous. Whether he's just feeding you false information. Yeah, I can feel it.
I can tell you now that they are 1/18 scale, the same as a 3 3/4 inch figure. So you get your 1/12 scale, which is your 12-inch hot toy, and then the 1 to 18 inch, 1 to 18 scale is a 3 3/4 inch figure and a 4-inch figure.
I've really not opened that with any skill or panache. There we go. Right, let's have a little look. Excuse the old background sounds.
You got a vintage Stormtrooper close by?
Yeah, I'm going to go and grab one. Oh, yeah, liking that. It looks better than it did online. I thought online it looked really ropey. And actually, yeah, I quite like the fact that unlike your normal vintage Stormtroopers, this one head wobbles a little bit. So it's a bit strange. Let me go and get another one. So talk amongst yourselves, villains.
Well, he's gone to get his measuring stick. The figures released: Darth Vader, Ahsoka, Stormtrooper, Luke, Grogu, Din Djarin, and Deluxe Paz and Sabine. Now, kind of like as the release of the popular shows, aren't they? They're covering Mando, the current Ahsoka show, and the original trilogy. Now, I didn't understand what these were for when I was looking at them, but Dan, I think you've probably hit the nail on the head. These are toys for your kids to play with, aren't they? That aren't in these collector range, and it gives you the chance to go in with your kiddie and buy them a figure they can rip off the packet and enjoy and play with. And I'm aware there's already a Wave 2 announced, which is going to have more basic figures and more deluxes. Some 2-packs. I know there's an interrogation pack and a dual pack come in. There's a speeder bike pack come in. And I believe some sort of vehicle. I don't know what that is. I haven't done enough research on it. Anyone know that?
The Mando Starfire, isn't there, coming?
Is it? So there is stuff coming.
Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? Like
nice.
When we were kids, our toys were from one trilogy. But now this Star Wars is so vast that you might have Mando's ship and then
But how many of these budget ranges have we looked at over the years? All right, we've had a year's break, but even before that, there's been lots of different things that have been. Do you remember those figures that came out in like little boxes, almost like poppy figures?
Yeah.
3 3/4 inch. And before that, we were talking about that they had the budget range of various packs. They had like there was a pack of Stormtroopers, or there was a pack of Clone Troopers, or there was a pack of heroes and villains. Well, these budget 3 3/4 inch figures, and yeah, I don't know. They just released. I know they've obviously included Mando and Ahsoka now, but you're still getting your Darth Vaders and your Luke Skywalkers, and it's yeah.
But I just think it's nice that there is
a range out there. Yeah,
there is a range of toys that actually, if my daughter's 7 at the moment, good target market for figures. She's a great target if she wanted to get into Star Wars toys. This is where you build your collection and actually beat the crap out of them by playing them. Now Jez is back. He's got a couple of Stormtroopers. It looks like he's got a vintage one and the new one. He's got his trousers off and he's got a tape measure in his hand. So Jez, what is well, you've missed me, Jez, you see. That's why but what is it? Give us the lowdown of this. Looks bigger. It looks bigger the angle you've got it on the camera.
Yeah.
100%. The new one is bigger.
It looks about 1/4 of an inch bigger.
It's about that. So what I'm going to do is you're not going to be able to see this as well. Let me grab Stormtrooper. Top of his head there is around about 3 3/4. The original vintage figure, 3 3/4. I would say it is about 3.95, 4 inches. It's 4 inches.
Yeah, 4 inches once you tilted his head back properly.
Yep. So I would say that it is slightly taller.
There you go. They are 4 inches. Dan, I'm going to come back to you here because you were adamant. You said, I can tell you on my life. I think one of those sentences you said.
Hold on. We're not finished yet. Hold on.
Has he got one in his hand? Now, there's Dan. What's that?
So that's...
Why has he got green?
It is. Wait for it. Because it is.
Is it Mouse?
It's Mouse.
No, Dan's just pulled out we've got to remember this is an audio show, people. Dan's just pulled out a Mouse in Stormtrooper. If you don't know that, I think he's from the EU.
From the 3 3/4 inch range, yeah.
Well, I don't know whether that was a 3 3/4 inch.
Well, of course it was.
It was a comic pack thing.
Yeah, but it would have been 4 inches, a 3 3/4 inch. He measures 4 inches as well.
No, he must have been a 4 inch range as well.
Oh, I'm not having it. It's 1/18 scale based on a figure being 6 foot tall. It's a 1/18 scale. That's the standard for 3 3/4 inch figures.
I don't know what's happened to you, Dan.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm giving you facts. I'm giving you
You're
it
the
real.
Kid at school that makes out they're 5'10" when they're 5'9".
Okay, everyone, they're 4 inch figures. Everyone, don't buy them because they won't work with the rest of your figures.
Well, there you go. So Jez is doing a lovely side by side. Happy with the figure, Jez? Do you think it's a nice little sculpt for a kiddie to play with?
It's better than I thought. Genuinely, it's better than I thought. I'm looking at the original vintage now, and I'm thinking this one much better, which annoys me to say that. I was annoyed because the good proportion of these have got the holes in the arms where you can add accessories from other figures to them, which is weird. But the posability, the detailing, everything about this Stormtrooper armor, the helmet, everything is all so much better. Price point, I wonder whether or not they intentionally bring them out at $9.99 with the plan to very quickly discount them. I don't know whether or not the plan is just to have these in like supermarkets straight away, advertise them for sale.
15 quid for a deluxe. I think they come with a couple of extra like accessories, but that, for example, a tenner to £6.40. £6.40 feels a lot more comfortable buying them.
Yeah, there'll be a budget range. They've got that higher retailer, so it's an immediate sort of bargain for the parents in the store, seeing them already discounted. And they've gone for the easy figures, easy wins, and it's Hasbro are desperate to get that age group back into toys because they're not in it, are they? They're in computers, they're on screen, they're in a different world whereas we were all over it. There's a different generation, so we're trying to work out how to bring that market back in and sort of capitalize on it. But I don't know, it's a tough one. I keep trying again and again.
Maybe from a nostalgia point of view, because maybe parents now, with younger kids and stuff, see that, and maybe these are parents of Power of the Force 2 generation. Do you know what I mean? That we've all got, those who have children have generally got them quite grown up now, but maybe people look at this and go, oh, it's only £6. Oh, that's nothing. Oh, that reminds me of when I had it. Yeah, I'll do that. So yeah, I think they might be onto something, and the fact that we're already seeing them discounted, I think is just very much like if I'm buying a hardback book in Tesco's, as soon as it's come out, it's cheaper than it is at Amazon.
Yeah, they're still in a bit of trouble, Hasbro. I think we haven't covered it. I remember we talked to Dave Tree when we was doing the Palatoy shows, and I think just before Christmas they'd made I think it was 20% of their staff redundant. And they just in the last few days released their Q2 statement, and their sales are down 20%. I mean, that's not Star Wars, that's across the piece, but it is a ever decreasing market by the feels of it.
They have the Marvel license, don't they?
Yeah.
Because if you go into Smith's, I mean, the Star Wars section is, I could put my arms out and it's not as wide as that, but the Marvel area is quite big. And I mean, they've just released all the Turtles to go in line with theirs. There's quite a big Turtle line out. So they're still releasing action figures, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, you only got to go and look on somewhere like, I don't know, Star Action Toys and just scroll through everything new that's coming out. And it's not just collector's stuff, there's general lines there as well. And it's just tons and tons and tons of stuff. Whether it's Transformers or Turtles or wrestling figures or...
Well, the wrestling figure market's always been massive, hasn't it? That's stood the test of time for years now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with that. And they've got peg holes at the bottom of their feet. Next to these in the shop, they had a load of retro Mandalorians, all for £4. All the Kenobi series. So you had Reva, Fifth Brother, you had Inquisitor, you had Ned B, all for £4. Whereas this is a Stormtrooper sculpt. It looks awesome. It's got a decent weapon, which looks accurate. And yeah, £6, £6.40. Happy with that purchase.
Good stuff. Well, actually, do you know what? There was a lot more positive on that range than I thought it was going to be at the start. So, the Epic Hero series, win-win for what it is.
Have you kept up with your training?
Obviously not. I can't train if Ahsoka doesn't want to teach me.
That is an excuse, and a poor one.
She quit on me.
The past is the past. Move forward.
I never had the talent, the abilities, not like Ezra.
That much is true. I have known many Padawans over the centuries, and I can safely say your aptitude for the Force would fall short of them all.
I won't waste any more of her time.
The only time you are wasting is your own.
Okay, now let's move on to the Black Series and the Vintage Collection. When it comes to modern collecting, these are the big areas where people are either into one or the other or both. But first of all, there has been a lot of releases of these. There's no way we're going to sit here and just list them. So I have asked the boys just to pick their favourite and their least favourite of what they've seen since we last recorded. So kind of like a much quicker segment. Let's start with the Black Series. Let's come to you, Pete. What's been your favourite from the list when we were looking through them?
Basil. Can't work out whether he's a favourite or a least favourite. I think he's going to be a bit of
Basil.
Marmite. Yeah, Basil from Acolyte. You know, the guy who just goes around sniffing. The Finder.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like him. Yeah, like a little what creature do you call him?
It's like a little hamster.
Yeah, his little little trailer.
Maybe he's related to that hamster in the holiday special when they're in the bar. There's like a hamster in there. Do you remember?
Yeah,
We watched
yeah.
it. Might be
Very gerbil
related.
sitting on a chair.
Yeah, he's a very weird character, isn't he? I don't know what. I think obviously the fan reaction to the Acolyte has been mixed. So whether the reaction to him is equally mixed, but that one sort of stuck out when I was looking through the list there. But which one would I probably go for? The IG-12 and Grogu little pack. That looks really nice. I thought that was a good little set. A couple of Babu Fricks in there. That's a sort of memorable scene from, was it Mando 3? It was, wasn't it? So that's a nice little set. And the twin pack, the Captain Enoch and the Night Trooper. So there's a few. Yeah, those three are probably. They're the ones were standing out. I think they are. They're pushing it. I thought they were kind of like scaling back on the Black Series a little bit, but they seem to be really going for it, I think.
Yeah, nice. Jez, Black Series favourite?
Yeah, got a couple actually. I'll just go for the one. Balin's Skull from Walmart. I think that one is lovely because there was a couple of Balin skulls, but this one is a Walmart special. I think, just for the fact that he was just epic in the role in Ahsoka. And that particular one, I think, is a great sculpt.
Nice. Yeah, good character. I mean, I wasn't enamoured with Ahsoka as a show, but I thought his character was amazing. Yeah, with you on that. Good choice. Dan?
I am going to go with the two Andor figures they've just announced. So the Deirdre Mero, was it Deirdre Mero? Can't remember, it's been that long. And the Cassian Endor. I think they're two great figures. Great to see finally some Andor figures coming through. And it's got to give a special mention to this, the Stappen Battle Droid for the 25th
quality,
anniversary.
isn't it?
Yeah,
that's good.
I know it's not coming until later in the year, but I quite like the Mara Jade figure. And actually, me and Jez were only talking about Mara Jade at the weekend, and like, have Star Wars just completely written her out. But I mean, the Last Command 4-pack she's coming out in, but I quite like the sculpt. She looks pretty decent to me, so she would definitely be. I would be quite interested in that pack. I know Luke's in that pack, isn't he? Is there two Lukes in that pack? I've got a feeling there is. I can't remember what the other one was because I haven't got it in front of me. I was looking at it the other day. I think it's 1 second. I have to bring it up.
Yeah.
There you go. Joruus C'baoth. He looked like a quite cool figure as well. Don't know too much about him, but the Mara Jade did sit out to me. And I'm gonna bring this up. We haven't got this in our show notes, and we will talk about holiday specials and stuff next month. But the Halloween figures coming out. I think they're Amazon exclusives. They'll probably be America. But they're releasing 3, Babu Frick and Mynock. But then the other 2, a Duros Bounty Hunter, Halloween edition. Always good fun. But the Sith Inquisitor Halloween edition. Do you remember like the monsters kind of figures?
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got. That's and
he looks like Dracula. And I love it. He's the Sith Inquisitor. You can tell it's him by his face, but he's done up like Dracula. And whether you hate these or don't get them, if you just look at them as actually they're a bit of fun, like when they crossed over Star Wars with Transformers, they're a bit of fun. They were never going to be great. These are brilliant, and I just think they're good fun for the time. And the same with the Christmas ones. You just take them for what they are, get them out on the holidays. But I love that Sith Inquisitor as Dracula.
Yeah, see, I had that on my list of the worst ones.
Yes.
Interested. What, the Dracula
I really
one?
did. Yeah, I had the Dracula one. It looks like the Dracula thing out of Munsters. And I also wrote, and any of the shite holocron bullshit. No, not bullshit, BS for Black Series. So, yeah, any of the holocron ones are just awful. But the Sith Inquisitor was terrible. I had Mara Jade. That is an exceptionally good sculpt. Really, really good.
I can't. I'll go. Sorry, Jez. I'm gonna have to. I'll move to this. You're calling that awful. You're just. Where's? Perhaps your children have got too old. Perhaps you've lost that.
It's everything that's wrong with Star Wars.
But it doesn't. But what do you mean? It's everything that's wrong with Star Wars. There's been Halloween figures for years and years and years. Crossovers in the parks, little exclusives. Halloween's massive in America. You know, they get these figures, they can get them out, decorate it like a little hall scene once a year, put them away again. It's a bit of fun. It's just that figure suits Dracula. It's just fun.
Hey man,
I think you're just looking at it wrong.
Me. That's fine. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Dan, the worst?
I'm going to say...
the typical of Dracula.
No, I'm not. I think Jez has already alluded to it. So those holographic figures, specifically there, I think it's a May one. I mean, the Acolyte figures, regardless of what I think of the series, even before I'd seen a single episode, when they released that first wave of figures and they're all Jedis in brown robes, it's just like, I've got no interest in buying any of those. So yeah, anything that first wave of Acolyte figures and that holographic figure, I'm gonna go as my worst.
I'm with you on the Holocron. Do nothing for me either. But Jez is disgusting with what he said about Halloween. Pete?
Yeah, I had Full House on the Holocron figures. I had both of those down. And also, delving, I think the Acolyte Jedis all in brown robes, which do look the same, but I think Jedi Knight Yord Vander is just the worst of the worst. He kind of looks very Lord of the Rings, looks like Frodo, and it's just not a great show and not a great character and a pretty bad toy to go with it. So
They're all dead anyways. Spoiler.
The Holocron figures. I mean, on this website they're showing 10 of them.
But this was like
eight of them for this year releases.
Was it the credit collection, and then they had the carbonized figures, and all of the carbonized seems to have gone away, and this seems to have replaced it.
So these would be better, like you do with the Hot Toys, when like someone is talking to a Holocron, like they just make a small one that you put on the character's hand, maybe in the figure. Rather than
don't they come with a puck, so they're meant to sit like they're in a hologram in your collection. But no interest for me.
No, I think you boys have chosen well on them, not the Halloween one, but that is it. Right then, boys. So, okay. The Vintage Collection. Jez, your favourite?
Disappointed that they've still not got a Power of the Force one. I just want a Power of the Force on carded. But, do you know what? Come back to me, because I'm so invested in the Vintage Collection. I've got 5 favourites. So, just in case one of mine is the same as Dan's or yours or Pete's, come back to me. Come use me. I'll be last.
That's you've definitely got 5, and it's just that you've not just only opened up show notes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5.
Okay. Dan?
I'm going to go with, and it's quite a recent announcement, the Mando on the Blurg, just because I've got no interest in owning the Hot Toy scale version. And I think for 30 quid, it's a bargain. I was just looking on Star Action Figures. It's down as like 30, I think it's 35 quid for that. I think that's a good price for a Blurg and a Mando action figure.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Good choice. Easy. Good choice.
I've got a notable as well is the 2 playsets they've just announced as well. So there's the Armourer's Forge and the Hallway on Moff Gideon's ship, and I think they're both like 60 quid each. And compared to the prices we've seen for some of these things going recently, I think they're not badly priced either. I don't know whether they come with a figure or not, but nice little environments to play in.
The Armourer's Forge comes with carded armour, doesn't it? And a Grogu, like a little Grogu, and various bits. That looks great. I think I like that playset a lot.
What about you, Pete? What are you picking?
Well, those 2 are top of my list: the Blurg and the Armourer's Forge playset. So that may tempt me back in. I'll see. But just from regular figures, I think I'll definitely pick up a carded Dark Trooper. That looks great. They did it in the box, didn't they? The deluxe, but I think they've got a regular carded version on the way for later this year. That might be the one that pulls me back in.
I did think it was great. I mean, it's not the most complex figure, but great to see 8D8 being made again. I know you've got to buy the Jabba on the Hasbro through Hasbro Pulse, but I just great to see a new 8D8 figure
on my list. Yeah,
I don't think we've seen enough of him generally. Also, with we've not seen an image yet, but Hammerhead has been in the pipeline reveal, which is long time overdue as well. I think it's great to see his name being bandied about. But let's go back to Jez then.
All right, yeah. So the 8D8, I did think, I like the idea of that, and also I'm curious about it because of its crazy hands. Like, because you haven't seen, the rest of the sculpt, you're like, yeah, really, really familiar. That's all quite similar. But the hands on that Vintage Collection 8D8 are so weird. It now makes me want to go and watch the movie again and just have a little look and do a comparison. Was Kenner so wrong? So a side by side of those 2 is interesting. I'm gonna call out though the ones which I had. I started looking at them. I thought the Cobb Vanth was a nice one. I thought that was really good. But surprisingly, the Ahsoka in white. So there's a sort of white outfit Ahsoka, and the face sculpt is probably one of the closest matched to the actor or actress you can find. I thought the Ahsoka was brilliant. I love the new Vader on a Star Wars card. Really, really good homage to the original sort of Kenner line. 88. I'm going to come on to another one in a second. But when it comes out, the OSHA one is okay versus the May. So of the two, I think the OSHA as a figure isn't too bad. But it was that Professor Huyang which got me all sort of twisted and changed. Because initially, when I saw it on the website, I was like, nah, don't like that. That looks a bit weird. The figure looked weird. But when I then clicked on it and you saw it mounted on a card back, I think that looks brilliant. So first look, I was like, yeah, that head sculpt's rubbish. But I think when you've got it all together matched on that card back, that might be an upgrade for me. I think it looks great.
The actual image is really crisp on that. It's they've done a good job on that, and I would say the figure's one of the worst when I was looking through them. But you're right, on the card, there's it just works.
Yeah. I don't like the May. Oh, we haven't gone on to don't likes yet.
Well, let's carry on with you, Jez. But what don't you like? May. Yeah.
May, I didn't like. I just thought that the soft goods, everything just seemed a bit too much, and I don't know, it just didn't seem particularly accurate. And the jetpack trooper, maybe it's just got a really camp stance, but I don't know.
It's where they make the torso, the waist bit. They make it so small so you get lots of articulation out of it. I sometimes think it makes the figures look a little bit weird. Then with the torso bit so much bigger than the figure. Yeah, good point. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that's me done.
Do you know what? We're so in sync. Just that Dracula, mate. That Dracula. It's obviously going to come between us. Dan?
Worst figure. I'm not sure when it was announced, but it came out this year. They released Finn on a Force Awakens card, and I don't know. Maybe I've just seen too many of those figures hanging from the peg. Previous incarnations of that character, that's just kind of like,
that's him back in the like sandy jacket, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Starkiller base version. It's just all in black. It's just a very basic looking figure. I don't know why they've done that. But
it's just a complete repaint, isn't it, of the 2015 figure? Because if I remember rightly, the face sculpt isn't great on it either.
No, I'm going with that one just because we just didn't need it. I don't think.
Pete.
I had Finn in there. This was an odd one, but just flicking through them again. What's going on with the Ezra Bridger one, the Hero of Lothal? It's just the sculpt of the sort of the trousers, top of the trousers looks very weird. It's like he's just it's like he's got the sort of the upper legs of a like a Black Series. It just looks enormous. It just looks really weird. Other than that, can I say what really annoys me with the Black Series, and probably what is
we're on the vintage collection now, yeah?
Yeah, sorry. Is that bit of paper that comes in the bottom. Why have they not got around that? And why do they kind of keep doing it? It looks so shit. You know, the big folded...
Yeah.
It's just like a pile of them. I'm looking at them and it's just... When you look at them from that angle, it's just all you just see is a big sort of square bit of paper. Can't they just do that on a QR code on the back, surely?
Yeah.
See, that Ezra's everything opposite to that one you were just talking about, Jez. I mean, the card back as well, him coming out of a holocron, you're kind of like, the image on the card, it just doesn't work.
That Ezra, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
But more good than bad, I think, on Vintage Collection, I think.
I mean, we've probably covered it there. Anything else we want to talk about with these two lines? I mean, they're still churning the figures out, which is great for collectors. I don't know what the numbers are this year, but we will go into that when we wrap up at the end of the year. But looking through what had come out from when I last recorded, there did seem to be a fair amount of pipeline reveals, figures out, waves coming regularly. They seem to have got into a good system of so many being released at a time. So this will feel like we're miles behind, but that's because we are that. And since we last recorded, Hasbro Pulse launched a Haslab project. It got funded. It was up my street, but I didn't pull the trigger. We'll go into that in a minute. And it raced off with being backed and then stalled. And at one point, it didn't look like it was going to get over the line. If you think about it, the Razor Crest hit its target after just 2 days. The Ghost after just 5. This had to wait for day 29 to reach its target. But let's just have a quick overview of what this was back at the time. So, Jez, can you explain what the item was? And also, with this one, they were doing a basic and deluxe version. So what were the differences between the two?
Ladies and gentlemen, Everyone loves the cantina. You can all remember it from A New Hope. Everyone loves the music. Everything's instantly identifiable. One of my best pieces of Star Wars artwork is the Cantina by Christman. You know, everyone loves it. It's just so iconic. In fact, from a Lego point of view, one of the best Lego sets recently and the highest reviews have been the Lego Cantina. So absolutely made sense for some people that you go back to Mos Eisley and have the Cantina. Yeah, as you said, this time they did something different. They had a base and a deluxe, which they've not done before. Loads of pieces. This could be seen from a building point of view. It's configurable play and display is how they explained this. But it's the cantina, it's the bar, it's the sort of patrons area, it's where the droids would come down, it's all the little booths, and it's kind of like one of these Sullivan family play sets. It's like a doll's house, and that's it. There are so many different things to this, but let's just look at the base offering first of all. Now, when you lay this out, you're talking quite a substantial amount of real estate, 32 inches by 19 inches. It's got an external entrance, the main cantina, entry archway, stairs, the bar, 3 modular sit-in booths, archways. There's more tables, 8 round tables, a large rectangular table, 4 tall stools, 15 short stools, 5 single seat chairs, 4 two-seat benches, 8 different types of cups. You know, we love a cup. They've got over 100 total cups. But it's the barware, the pipes and accessories, you know, loads of things with it. But actually, when you saw the sort of 3D rendered, the little videos of it, when you've seen the YouTube videos online, the detailing, the weathering, the attention to detail on this is astonishingly good. It's really, really good. So that came out at $399 plus all the taxes, depending on where you were. And standard thing, UK like for like, it was £399, including all of our taxes. Now, if you went for the deluxe, it would be 32 inches by 29, so an extra whole 10 inches. And where is that? It's with extra booths. You get more opportunities. You get 3 additional modular booth sections, 5 additional short stools, 2 additional single seat chairs, 4 additional 2-seat benches, 6 additional round tables, and 20 more cups, plus some unique wall decorations. So a real mixture of stuff going on. And regardless of if you got the basic or the deluxe, which would cost you an extra $100 or £100. Yeah, this one was $499. Regardless of which one you went for, it was whether or not it was going to achieve the amount of backers required. So that was it. It's a full-on cantina display. And yeah, over to you, folk.
Yeah. So who doesn't love the cantina? The best scene in any Star Wars film and the best scene in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh, yeah. And before we go on to the tiers and all the other bits and pieces, so this one actually came with some base characters as well. So it came with the Wooer, you know, our barman who everyone loves, and we're going to come on to it and talk about it, the Tonica sisters. So as well as all of the cantina itself, you'd get the barman and the elusive Tonica sisters. How about that, folks?
Very, very nice. Now, Pete, before I go over to Dan and talk Tonica, if you heard Jez, you can throw out your cracking joke, gin and Tonica. Still brilliant. Still getting over that one. Can you tell us what the tiers were? There's always tiers with these projects. What were they?
Indeed, I can. So the entry level, what did we need? We needed 8,000 backers for the project to get greenlit, which it most certainly did. So the next tier along, which needed 11,000 backers, was for Greedo on a vintage collection carded, which came with a blaster and a cup. Tier 2, which needed 14,000 backers. You got Nabroon Leeds, again on a vintage carded vintage collection carded figure, 2 blasters and a cup, and an interchangeable hose. So he's the fella, or the character at the bar with the gas mask on. So that looks pretty cool. Not sure we've ever had one of them before. And then tier 3, which it sadly didn't make, which is 17,000 backers, was Ariel Schoff, which is also came on a vintage carded sort of style collection card, and that came with a blaster and a cup, and that was the werewolf looking figure, which I think is in one of the booths as well, but it didn't make that. The backing, it got to 14,737, so you just got to the tier 2. So yeah, I just missed one of the carded figures, but no, very good choice of figures, I thought, to go with this lot. I don't think many of those have been done before. Greed has obviously been done many times, but the others hadn't been, I don't think.
The wolf thing was a Power of the Force 2 figure, wasn't he?
Oh yes,
yeah. Just had to rip that one out and get that in there. Yeah, Jez, with your gin and your tonica, you could have Romba and Coke. Yeah, on here a week. Tequila Slammer.
See, that's the thing. The listeners missed the joke. I said you could have someone cosplaying from Rogue One next to 2 people cosplaying, and it would have to be gin and so in the Tonica Sisters, and you could say, "Hi, we're gin and tonic." And that's the joke. That's the setup. Otherwise, people are like, Anyway, back to the cantina.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Dan. So Tonica Sisters, we've heard the stories. We've talked about them in the past. We know their backstory. Collectors have been crying out for these figures for many, many years, and now we're finally getting them. But they're just attached to this cantina currently. Now, we've seen it with the yak face with the sail barge. That figure's going for a couple of £100 on card, maybe 300. I don't know. I haven't checked out prices recently. Are people going to flog these Tonica Sisters for a lot of money? Do you think we're going to see other Tonica Sister figures now, whatever the blockage was? Are we now going to see these figures regularly in all different lines?
Lots of questions there. So the first one is, I mean, I have looked on eBay recently, and there are a couple up on the yak face. There are a couple up for £300, like you say, but the only sold one on eBay at the minute sold for £80 on an auction. So I don't think that's particularly hold its value. And the same with the 2 figures that came with the Razor Crest carded, which was the Grogu and the Off-World Jawa Elder, which came with a little, I think it came with the egg they all got excited about in the show. They were going for around £100 each when they were released, or when people started getting their Razor Crests. So the first, there were some people obviously wanted to get their hands on them and were paying over the odds, but just recently they're not going for as much. I think that Yoda goes for about 40-50 quid now, and the Off-World Jawa Elder goes for maybe 70 or 80. But I think the Tonica Sisters are a different beast, just because of how people have always wanted those pair of figures on a vintage card back, and I've never been able to get it without getting them in some sort of custom made. So it'd be interesting to see, but my feeling is I think to start with they'll go for big money. I think there's people that held back buying the cantina just knowing that these were going to be available on the secondary market, and will pay £200-300 for the pair, I think. And then over time I think that might fall back. But like I say, I think that the blockage, the likeness rights, whatever the issues were with, I think it was Angela Staines was the actress's name that originally had issue with her likeness rights with Lucasfilm, that was resolved. I think you're going to see all sorts now. I think there's potential for Black Series figures. Can I ever see them doing Hot Toys of them? Probably not. But I think from a Hasbro perspective, I think they'll probably milk this now. Certainly now they've got the sculpts for the 3 3/4 inch.
Oh, can you imagine a Hot Toy double pack? Oh, give me my gin and tonica. Yeah.
So if we back in, I think it was May 2021. So Craig did a section on the Tonica Sisters when there was the Time for Tonica hashtag that had come out, when there was a campaign to get a petition to get Lucasfilm to release the figures. So that was back in May 2021, and 3 years later we're it's going to be October next year before they're actually in people's hands. But looks like that was a success in the end. But here's Craig to talk about that.
So the Tonica Sisters, for those who don't know, they're the 2 very 70s sci-fi looking ladies in the cantina in A New Hope. They've got very distinctive braided beehive hairdos and matching catsuits. So you will know them if you saw them. They are supposed to be Bria and Seni Tonica, and they don't have much of a canon backstory these days, but the old EU legends painted them as notorious con artists. And importantly, they were supposed to be identical twins. So this is where it gets twisty, because the two actresses in the cantina are clearly different heights and they're not identical. So when the old Legends EU was in full swing, Timothy Zahn wrote a story called Hammertong, Tale of the Tonica Sisters, which retcons those ladies as Shada Ducal and Carolee Doolin, who were, in the context of the story, disguised as the Tonica Sisters. Is everyone suitably confused?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Excellent. So as to why these two characters have never been made into Hasbro toys or Kenner toys for that matter, there's a few reasons for that, and I've got Victoria's little statement here, so I'll just pick some prime chunks from that. The story of the Tonica Sisters not making it into the Hasbro Star Wars toy line borders on mythological. For years, Hasbro refused to comment on these characters, providing little to no insight as to why they were off the table. Their secrecy led to rumours and eventually to silence, with Hasbro refusing to concede any information. Fans quit asking for them. However, the last time Hasbro conducted a fans' choice poll for a brand new figure in the Star Wars Vintage Collection in 2017, the Tonica Sisters placed at number 4. The demand for the figures remains strong. It was also in 2017 that we got the rest of the story. That's when Victoria gave Angela Staines, the actress who portrayed one of the Tonica Sisters, her first interview about her involvement with Star Wars on the Cantina Chatter podcast. Angela confirmed some of the rumours, including that Lucasfilm lost the paperwork they needed to create merchandise in her likeness, and that when given the opportunity to sign again, she questioned the benefit that she'd receive in doing so. She was disappointed that after signing the release, she would still have to pay for her own figure. She explained that she thought it would be fair for them to send her a sample and ultimately refused to sign. Since Lucasfilm could not get her to sign the new release, Hasbro could not create a figure of the character. The other actress who portrayed the other sister, Christine Hewitt, sadly passed away in 2007. She did sign the new release Lucasfilm provided for her shortly before her passing, yet a figure of that Tonica sister has not been released either. So Victoria goes on to say that she had the chance to meet with Angela in 2018 over some tea. We discussed her feelings on signing a new release if presented with another opportunity. She said after that, some reflection, and after realising that so many fans have been asking for Tonica sister figures, she felt that it would be the right thing to do. I took this information directly to Hasbro during my interview with Sam Smith and Sarah Carroll at San Diego Comic-Con 2019. They were delighted by the news and would take the information back with them. Then at New York Toy Fair 2020, we asked Sam for any updates on the situation. He confirmed that Hasbro was well aware, as was Lucasfilm, that there had been no further developments. It is now 2021 and the fight continues. I recently spoke with Angela once again for my other show, the Vintage Collection podcast, and she explained once again that she's ready to sign a new release for Lucasfilm. She was also very forthcoming in detailing why time is of the essence in making the Tonica Sisters a reality for Star Wars fans. The last time she was approached with a release was over 15 years ago. Surely a company as big as Lucasfilm, along with its even bigger parent company Disney, has the capacity to let bygones be bygones and get the ball rolling on setting things in motion once and for all. Finally, releasing the Tonica Sisters would be an acknowledgement of the steadfast faith the fans have placed in Lucasfilm and Hasbro over decades of various Star Wars content and toy lines. It would also bring to close the years of legend and mystery surrounding these two characters. In order to demonstrate the continuing demand for the Tonica Sisters, I have coordinated with many fine folks across the collecting community to say that it's now time for Tonica. That's hashtag time for Tonica, people. We've launched a new petition for Lucasfilm and Hasbro to inform them of the urgency in making these figures happen, but the petition is just a component of this campaign. May the 4th is a celebration of all things Star Wars and the perfect time to bring awareness to our plight by encouraging others to sign as well as spreading the word. On social media, let's ensure that Lucasfilm knows it's hashtag time for Tonica. With our combined strength behind this goal, perhaps we will be a little closer to making these long requested characters a reality.
Do you think that petition had any effect on what we're now getting?
Well, the timeline matches up, right, doesn't it? I don't know, because it was all around the Angela Staines. There was a woman who interviewed her on a podcast. She was she started the petition up. She interviewed Hasbro and confirmed that Angela was open to sorting things out. And then 6 months later, they still hadn't done anything with it. So that's why they started the petition. But yeah, who knows? there's nothing. I couldn't find anything online to say that we've bowed to fan pressure and we're releasing the figures or anything like that. So they wouldn't come out and say that anyway. So.
They wouldn't admit to that, would they?
Yeah, but I can only assume it all contributed in some way.
But it's great to finally have them. Anyone that's Cantina collectors, there is a gaping hole there with two quite striking patrons of that bar. Now, what did we actually personally think about this project, and were you tempted to back it? Dan, you're talking. Let's just carry on with you.
I was tempted. I was watching a countdown. I did say, well, if it funds, then I might back it, and then it funded, and I mulled it over a bit more. And I just thought, what am I going to do with it? I mean, I imagine it's going to come in a beautiful vintage style box, but then I just haven't got the room to lay it all out. And then I thought, well, maybe I could get like a glass coffee table and have it all laid out inside and glue everything in position. But I didn't pull the trigger in the end. There wasn't just enough there for me to warrant it. It was just going to sit in a box in my loft probably. But it is a beautiful thing. It is
beautiful. Pete, ever tempted, or was it just?
Not really, but I really do appreciate them. I think all the Haslabs have been amazing, and if you had the space, you would sort of like you'd grab them all, wouldn't you? Like going back to the skiff and that, they do look fantastic. But just weighing up the size of this is going to be the size of a coffee table, isn't it? Just when the box comes, but just getting all of that in. No, I think it would be nice, and I think if I was more of a sort of a dedicated vintage collection collector, I'd have no doubts. I'm sort of getting on board with this.
Yeah, Jez?
I was tempted. I like the idea of it. As these have gone on more and more, I've thought, and got behind them. But it's just the space. Unlike a ship, which you can maybe put on top of, not a wardrobe, but you can put on top of a bookcase. You can put somewhere, and people can just see it and go, oh yeah, that's the ship. How do you display this unless you've got a coffee table or some decent amount of space? It's the same with the sort of katana. That was just so big and difficult. So I think ships, definitely. This, I don't know. Even the video, which they had, the promotional video, which they had with the two people, the photographer and the annoying girl, they had it on two levels rather than on one level. And they were justifying that, saying, oh yeah, we're doing this on the two levels. Just because there will be people complaining that they don't have the space for it. So I just thought that was really weird that they were doing it like that, rather than just show it in one area and then say, oh, if you're limited on space, you can also have it like this. So they opted themselves to go for this more constricted way of demonstrating it, putting on two different levels. But I can't see me displaying that in anywhere where the detailing could be visible.
Yeah, that was so for me. This is a perfect project for me from Haslab. I mean, the Cantina is the go-to, and I did look at it several times, but the sizing of it is what put me off. I actually walked around my room, and there was nowhere I could work out to display it. Now I've got the UCS Lego Cantina, okay, which it's big for a Lego set, but it's a lot smaller than this. I can't figure out where to put that because of the size of that. This thing is like 3 times the width and 3 times the other weight and length as well. You're like, so to put it out, and you've just said it, Jez, I watched that video with actual Hasbro. This was their promotional video. They're putting it over 2 levels, which makes no sense to me. If I'm buying a Cantina, I'm not going to split it onto different levels. So it's purely the size of it. I've still got my Razor Crest in the box. I've never had it out of the shipper. So these things are big. They are brilliant. I mean, the katana for me is the one I would most like to have backed. In hindsight, I think you could make that quite nice to a side of, on top of a big bookcase if it's big enough, and just really put it in there. But the Cantina for me, just the shape of it and the size of it was the defining factor for me at this time. But I reckon I'll be kicking myself when I start seeing them unpacked. But that's what it is. Now, play sets. This was a great thing. Do you think we're going to see more play sets? Because, I mean, the Rancor failed, Raver's lightsaber failed. This was a bit of a return to form for Haslab after a couple of failed projects. Do you think we're going to see more play sets? And if so, if Haslab could make you any play set from Star Wars, what would you choose, Pete?
Well, they seem to be very keen on these sort of hallway scenes, don't we? We're up to, we're on 3 now? Or certainly 2, we're on for 3. If they could do any, they got... The first one, I wrote down Hoth first, because they haven't sort of done Hoth, but surely the Death Star is next. Some sort of rework of the Death Star.
That would be enormous, though, wouldn't it? It's probably going to have to be a segment, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying do the whole round thing, but you could do a leveled thing. That would be easier for space. Because
that makes more sense, level, doesn't it?
Because you could do it 3 or 4 levels, and you could have like all the, the detention block, and you could have somewhere to sort of put the Falcon in, to not the whole Falcon, but sort of to the side of it, and just do all the classic scenes. I think that it's got to be on their list, isn't it? It's got to be next. That's the natural way forward, I think. So a lot of Hoth. Hoth was probably had the most play sets in the original vintage releases, but how they could redo the Death Star now would be interesting.
So Pete wants a corridor on Hoth, which is situated in the Death Star. Dan?
We've had this before, haven't we? I think in vintage collection scale, 4-inch, 3 3/4-inch, whatever, I think I quite like a Star Destroyer bridge. So, like where they've got the triangular windows and the pits for all the crew to sit in. That's never been really represented before, other than that crappy Darth Vader's Star Destroyer.
Somewhere to display your bounty hunters.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Like that. Jez?
Yeah, good idea, that. Best spin. I like the idea of best spin. I had Death Star written down, and I had Yavin. So Yavin 4. I think of all the play sets, I think they've probably done the best one. I think the Cantina is the one. But I like the idea of Death Star.
So when you're saying best spin, what are you thinking? Like the Ugnaughts, like Junk Room?
I don't know. I think that's been a bit of an untapped area. Bespin is just such an iconic shape. Make a really good, make a really, really good lampshade. A decent sort of Bespin shape.
You want to do a full-size Cloud City?
I'm not saying I want to do a full-size one. I did say I think they've done the best one, being the Cantina. Yeah. I think the future for this is in ships, not pushing agendas and like Reva's lightsaber and not getting all the timing wrong. Timing is something where, why timing-wise do you push the Cantina at a time when you already know that the Acolyte is causing a little bit of upset and turmoil in the Star Wars world?
Probably because they got the Tonica sisters. What ship? But Jez, on the ships though, just on the ship. So what ship could you do? So the Razor Crest, probably everything that Disney have done so far is probably the most original ship they've created in a show.
Yeah,
everything that's been done in the original trilogy or the prequels, even they released all those ships. Even like your drop ships from the Clone Wars and your battle tanks, all those big vehicles, they've released those as standard releases in years gone by. So what vehicles could they release? Because I can't think of anything iconic enough.
I think they would go after a Sandcrawler, which would be heavily indebted with some of the droids we've not seen.
Maybe, yeah, that'd be.
When was the last time we saw a Treadwheel figure, whatever it's called? It was Treadwheel, wasn't it? The those kind of figures, and a new R5D4.
R1, whatever they're called.
There is. I think that, but then that is just a great big blodge of brown plastic, isn't it?
I think they've made some great choices. I think the Katana was inspired at the beginning, which kickstarted this whole thing. The Razor Crest is just such a good ship, and I remember just after it closed, then like that week it blew up. Never to be seen.
The day after, mate. It was the day after it closed.
Yeah, that is that week. But yeah, all right, the day after. So that was quite funny. I like that. The Ghost ticks the box for such, the next generation, and everyone loved that. And this Cantina, there's nothing really from sequels or anything. I think they are judging the room. I think they are looking at what's what. I just think timing-wise, the Acolyte really upset the apple cart in so many ways. And a lot of people were like, oh, that's it. Cancelling Disney Plus. That's my Star Wars ruined, and all that sort of stuff.
Is that another impression of Dan?
So I just think, sometimes I wonder whether or not the different departments are connected. And you know what? I'm convinced they're not, because most big corporations departments aren't. Yeah, just question the timing sometimes, particularly from a timing point of view, whilst people are still waiting for delivery on other Haslabs which have funded. So it's like, hey, we know that one worked, and we know you haven't got your product yet, but here's another one we want you to go for, and we want you to pay, and we're not going to deliver it yet. So it's timing wise, I just thought it was curious as to why they did it then.
Yeah,
I think there's probably some truth to what you've said there, Jez, though, around the blowback from the Acolyte, because they've just released a G.I. Joe Haslab. I'm trying to think what it's called. The Rattler, Cobra's Rattler, and that funded in 2 days, something like that. 2 or 3 days it funded, boom, gone, it's on its way. So yeah, G.I. Joe fans are obviously chomping at the bit for these things, and Star Wars fans are a bit more blasé about it.
What's failed? Is it just the Black Series? Is there two?
Yeah, the Black Series. Yeah, the 2 Black Series failed, the Rancor and the Reaver lightsaber.
They'll be real nervous about going down that road again, wouldn't they?
I would love to see a Homestead done properly, because you could, you know, I mean, from Kenobi, not from the originals. It covers so many films. You could have so many different figures for that and different setups, depending on what your Star Wars is. You got the prequels, you got the OG, the original gangster. That's obviously what I meant. Right, Hot Toys. Woo! Now, one of our favourite modern items, the Hot Toys. And as always, there's been plenty of stunning announcements since we last recorded. And we're not going to go through them like that. But last time we recorded A Modern Way, Dan had several pre-orders outstanding with Toy Wonderland. And I'm pretty sure he's ecstatic to have them all in hand. Dan?
No, not at all. Can you play some sad Hulk music over this?
You like the old Radio 1 stuff?
Yeah, that one. What's that music called? Yeah, the sad lad. So yeah, I suppose I suppose my worry is I've kind of advertised these people in the past, Toys Wonderland, and advocated for them. It's not overly, but I've mentioned where I've been buying my Hot Toys from. So I think when I started buying, like most people, you start with Sideshow, and then you start getting hit with £60 customs duty and things like that, and then discovered Toys Wonderland, started ordering from them, didn't have any issues for the first couple of years, then discovered The Good, the Bad and the Robots, so started ordering off of Lee Ward, but he only orders a certain amount, so if you don't get in quick with him, you've got to either go back to you've got to find another source for your Hot Toys, and generally my default position was Toys Wonderland, but they've run into some problems that they're basically ghosting people. They're not receiving their Hot Toys. I did get my Luke Jedi from season 2 of Mandalorian finale last July time, so I think I might have talked about that on The Modern Way, but I haven't had a single one from them since, so they're in hock to me at the minute for 4 Hot Toys, 2 of which have been released, the Padme and the Vader from Kenobi. No sign of them. They've renamed themselves now, so they're not actually called Toys Wonderland, they're Toys Apollo, so take that for what you will. And if you want to know all the gory details, head over to YouTube and just search Toys Wonderland, and there's no end of people complaining about them. Fingers crossed they come through at some point, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not holding my breath, and it has soured the whole Hot Toys thing for me. So yeah, I've not pre-ordered anything for about 12 months now, just because I'm so pissed off with all of that.
The fact that they've changed their name isn't a good sign at all.
Well, they switched their comments off. So you used to be able to, you try and email them, you wouldn't hear anything back. You'd get their auto out of office kind of, we'll get back to you in 48 hours, and you'd never hear from them. So then people were saying, well, go onto Instagram and message them through Instagram, and then you would get a response. Now they've switched off their direct messaging on Instagram. They switched off, you couldn't leave comments on the post, so they post up, we've got this new Hot Toy up for pre-order, and they just get a load of abuse in the comments. So they switched all the comments off, so they literally, you've got no way of speaking to anyone. I know there's people out there that have gone to the Hong Kong police to raise issue with them, and there's talk of all other stuff going on, lawsuits and stuff with UK Fraud Office, but I'd be honest with you, I don't think there's a huge amount they can do. But yeah, you live and learn. And I think in terms of, we're going to talk in a minute about what we are going to be pre-ordering, but I'm going to stick to whatever I can get from UK people like Lee Ward and stick to that.
Well, that is it. So I was looking at where the best places really are from the UK. The Good, the Bad and the Robots, like Dan said, he's always been a big supporter of him, but you've got to get in at the right times. I mean, we talk about Sideshow and the import things, but they are such an established business. Although, yes, you're going to pay something between £50 to £70 import. you will get the figure. They will come through. PlanetActionFigures.co.uk, they are quite a good site, carry most of the figures. And then like Forbidden Planet and Zavvi in the UK, but they're quite limited to what they actually get in figure-wise. You won't find all your figures there.
And it tends to be quite overpriced as well, because price is the key, right? This is, I suppose, why people look at different avenues to get them. I think one of the other bits of advice I give people is, although payment plans sound really good, and it is great paying, £10 a month on a figure, and it's no worse than buying a vintage collection figure every month. It comes out your bank and you don't even realise it, and then in 12 months' time you've got a hot toy, and that worked great with them to start with, and was a brilliant way of buying them. But trouble is, when you're pre-ordering that far in advance, you've got no comeback on the credit card. That window closes quite readily after the purchase, and you're left high and dry, and you've got to cross your fingers they come through.
Yeah, not nice, mate. I hope you get some resolution in that, but like you say, not the most promising, I'm afraid. But right, Jez, over to you then. Let's perk this up a bit. You all right, Dan?
Yeah, I'll be all right. You can stop playing the music now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, mate. I just had a little look at them on Instagram, and I was scrolling down all the way until I could find a picture which I could comment on, and I was just about to leave a comment saying, Dan says you're a bunch, and I tried to do that, and I was gonna enjoy doing that, and then telling you, and then it said no, comments are limited. So then I pressed follow, thinking, maybe just followers can. No, I denied. So completely denied all opportunity to flame them. So yeah, Toys Apollo, toysapollo.official.
Ignore them too. Stay away, well away. Don't even follow them.
No. Right, Jez, Sideshow Con, been ongoing during July. They've had a little reveal of figures that we knew were coming. And what can you tell us about what else has been shown there?
Yeah, exciting stuff. Get your checkbook ready, Peter, because they got some really lovely things. So let's start off. Darth Sidious on its way. Brilliant. Really standard sort of stuff which we could expect. Eyes able to position and all that sort of stuff. Red saber, USB, brilliant. 9 different hands. All sounds great. But the hands with the wonderful Force lightning coming out of it. Really, really good. Exceptionally good. The skin, the face, the eyes are all stunning. The fingernails are suitably grubby. It's a great figure. Darth Sidious, really, really good. And then also from Revenge of the Sith, you've got Kit Fisto in his Revenge of the Sith robes. Looks absolutely fantastic. Absolutely spot on. The eyes, adorable. Just so good. The teeth, really good. There's an element of moisture to the skin. The clothing looks awesome. The boots in particular are really, really good. So good. Just really well worn. They're just 2 exceptional figures, which would be Stu. I'm just going to come straight to you. You tempted with those?
I've been very tempted by Kit Fisto to the point I've looked at it 3 or 4 times, and it's the kind of thing I would go for.
Yeah. I mean, it's got illuminated green lightsaber, plus you couldn't see it on this video, but it said plus bonus 4-arm armor as shown in the Clone Wars animated show. So both look great. Hard one to call. I think for me, Kit Fisto's got it. But then you move on to Darth Maul on his Sith speeder from the Phantom Menace. 2 interchangeable head sculpts. Only really saw the one, but that one, oh my word, terrifying. Teeth, horns, eyes, skins, tattoos, all of it so good, as you'd expect. The clothing on this is worth an absolute mention. The tunic, the robes, all the undergarments, just the layers, the folds, just the whole ensemble. But the boots which go with it, the sort of really not iconic, but just part of the whole, look like biker's boots. Got 2 sabers. He's got the damaged single one and the double light up one, and the speeder itself mounted kind of gives the impression of it that's floating. Handlebars are both independently articulated, and again, as well as the light up lightsaber, the instruments on the control panel and the thrusters of the speeder both light up. It's awesome. It's really, really good. I would be very tempted with that. It's a really nice one. And then Star Wars Legends. So we've got sort of some prequel stuff then, but Star Wars Legends, you've got Luke Skywalker Dark Empire figures ×2. So you've got the Artisan Edition and the Collector. So in a nutshell, the Artisan Edition is the choice one. And where they're really pushing that is the intricate wool hair, which looks great and apparently feels pretty nice too. And that one's already got a wait list on it, right? So you snooze, you lose, and that's it, it's gone. However, there is the collector's one, looks very, very similar. So it's Darkside Luke in all of his Vader-like garb, comes with a red and a green USB saber. It's really, really cool, really cool. But completing all that, so Star Wars Legends and Prequel, we've then got a Return of the Jedi. So OT, Han Solo, Return of the Jedi. It's weird because I would have suspected, Dan, we've had a chat about this, I was hoping for Han Bespin, but we've got Han Return of the Jedi. So it's the classic Han look with his sort of signature white shirt and black multi-pocket gilet. They call it a vest, but to me it's a bit of a gilet jacket. But he's got his Endor trench coat on top, which has kind of got some wires at the bottom to allow for a better display, sort of flappage on top of the roof. What's wrong with that? Flappage. You know what I mean. And an element of sort of dynamic flow to the cape, to the trench coat. It's a really good forest floor base plate, great boots, nice brown trousers with a yellow piping, but critically for all the fans, 2 belts, the regular belt and the one for his D11 44 blaster, and of course the 44 blaster. It looks good. Nice little furrowed brow to Han, starting to look a little bit old now, but yeah, really nice. So on the whole, some excellent hot toys, as you can imagine. Which one's your favourite of those, Peter?
I didn't choose. I went through the list, and none of those. Are those were this year, or there's others for this year? Because I saw some on there that I don't know when they've come out. The Droideka looks good. Is that this year, or was that last year?
Yeah, I think so. Beginning of the year, I think.
Yeah, it's obviously tying in with the anniversary. I thought that looked good. That would look really cool if you had a sort of cabinet, a little glass sort of display for that to go in. That looks pretty detailed. The hand does look good. I was looking at that. Oh, the other ones I picked up on. The Shadow Trooper with the sort of the background. That looks pretty good. Again, I don't know if that was this year. I think it was all quite recent ones I was looking at. And the Dewback, that's pretty immense, isn't it? With Sand Trooper. Like a pretty good one. But no, it's just it's the face. It's the a bit too fantastical, I think.
Oh, there's lots there that I like. I think the one that's that, I mean, we're going to stick with the ones that Jez has just been through. I think the one that I'd probably like the best is that Palpatine or Darth Sidious. That was the one I'd probably add in. I mean, I have tried to limit what I'm getting now in terms of sticking to Empire Strikes Back. So that Chewbacca with C-3PO on his back is one that's definitely floating my boat, and I'm going to try and pick that up as soon as it goes on pre-order. Hopefully I can catch it on The Good, the Bad and the Robots. And I think it'll be the harbinger, Jez, for the Han Bespin. I think if you're releasing that Chewbacca and Empire Strikes Chewbacca, you've got to release the Han. Now they've got the head sculpt for the Han Endor. It's got to be coming. It's got to be. I'm saying it for years, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that one. And the other ones that have been announced recently, General Grievous looks awesome. There were so many, I suppose, people having issues with the sideshow version, with it not being able to stand properly. Hopefully, Hot Toys have worked their magic on it, and it's a bit better than that one. But it is massive. I've seen a few pictures of it scaled against like regular figures, and he's a bit of a Hulk. Other ones going back a little bit, but the Baylan Skull and was it Shin Hati? Was that her name?
Yeah, I quite like those.
They look really good. Those
I think you need both of them though, don't you?
Yeah,
that's the problem.
And I'm going to break my rule. I think originally I wanted to get like one figure from every show they ever did, and it just quickly became clear that wasn't going to work for me. So yeah, as nice as they are, I can't see myself owning them. But yeah, definitely that Chewbacca. That's top of my list. And when you ask at the end of the show what one I'm going to pre-order, it will be that one.
Nice. Well, Jez, you tempted by any of it?
Do you know what? I know it's typical as you might think. The Stormtrooper with Death Star environment looks brilliant. Looks quite dirty, a little bit weathered, but I think they've got that sculpt excellent. Peter was talking about, it's the one with the faces. Not quite sure about it. £193 this is looking at on Sideshow. Yeah, plus their import taxes and all that. I'd be interested to see what this is like on Good, Bad and Robots, because it's still on pre-order. But I think that Stormtrooper looks really good.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. Well, there you go. Hot toys.
What about you?
Most of them, to be fair.
Chrome Trooper?
No, you're probably the only one that I wouldn't buy.
I know.
Kit Fisto and Sidious to me are nice. I think they're really what I'd most like to buy. Out of those, I can see myself pre-ordering Kit Fisto, so I'm going to come off Sideshow tonight because I can't be tempted by that stuff.
Wanna fight the Empire, wanna be a man-slave Vader someday. You cannot leave this place, you're a big disgrace. Clean up those droids and get out of my face. I just really hate you. We will eat you. Help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. We got to get Orderon quick, and that ain't no joke. You aren't an Uncle Arduces, let's go to Mos Eisley to find the fastest pilot in the galaxy. I will take you. We will blow your planets. Alderaan ain't here, but that small moon's towing us in with what appears to be a tractor beam. Got to save the princess, Vader sliced me in the chest. Let's go back to Yavin and group up with the rest. We will rebel. We will blow your planet. We will rebel. We will rebel.
Right, another area we've touched on it already. Jez getting interested. I know Dan dabbles in it. I know Pete dabbles in it when it's dry, and that is Lego. Pete, can you kind of take us through what we've seen this year?
I can, yes. I've had a look at it. It feels it's weird. I sort of did a quick comparison on the numbers, and they are similar to the last few years. But just looking at the list, seems light. Maybe it's a little light on the sort of the higher end side of things, or maybe we've just been spoiled in recent years with the sort of Razor Crest. I know the X-Wing last year was fantastic. The Landspeeder was really good, and then we had the Venator Star Destroyer as well. So we've had some really big releases in Lego. So maybe this list feels a little light and a little dull in places, and there's only one UCS on there, but I don't think it's complete. I think there's probably still a few gaps to fill in, but I think sort of we're almost in August. You'd have thought we'd be knowing what's on the way. Other big takeaway: there's no helmets on the list, which I know they've gone deep into in the last few years. Maybe they're giving them a bit of a break, but I know they've done well. I think they put a lot out last year, didn't they? But yeah, a few highlights. As I mentioned, they got one UCS, which is the TIE Interceptor, which was the first UCS they ever did back in 2000. So this is getting a revisit with a new and improved design, far more authentic, kind of like replica version, using new technology, new techniques. They've also got a new TIE pilot in there, and it comes with a little mouse droid as well. And this is big. It's when you actually go into the video, they've got some sort of footage of it being made, and in hand it does look, it's a really big piece. It's almost like the sort of vintage toy. The sort of the original Kenner TIE Interceptor is a huge toy. It's kind of that scale, so that's pretty good. You've got a C-3PO buildable droid figure, which looks pretty nice. I think the Chewbacca they did last year was not great. I think that actually then when we sort of finally got to see that in store, it didn't look that much better. But this C-3PO looks a lot better. It comes with a stand. It's posable. You get an information plaque, and there's a little mini C-3PO Lego figure that comes with it. And it sort of complements, or you'd think it complements, the R2-D2 that they've put out in a similar scale, but the boxes are different. C-3PO is coming in that sort of black background box, and they got an R2D2, which is coming in a different style box. So they're pitching them together on the website, but they haven't put them in a similar design package, which I think is probably a missed opportunity there. I think they would look better in the same series, but I think that R2D2 might be more technical, so maybe it is in one of their other ranges. A few other highlights: the board in the Tantive, that looks a great little set. Pretty small, comes with 7 minifigures. You've got some Rebel Troopers in there, Stormtroopers, and you've got Vader, Dark Falcon, which is from the Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, which is a Disney Plus special. I haven't seen it myself, but it's a pretty wacky set. It's literally it is a Falcon, but it comes in all black, as you would expect. And the minifigures are pretty lively. Gives you an idea of what you're getting here. You've got a Darth Jar Jar, a Bounty Hunter C-3PO, a Darth Dev, a Darth Rey, a Beach Luke, and a Jedi Vader. There's lots of lightsabers with that, and a blue milk carton. So they're having a bit of fun. You got a Tantive 4, which looks really off to me. I'm not sure if that is what is quite going on there. The front of it just looks way too small, and they did a lovely Tantive 4 a few years back, so I'm not sure why they've done it in a slightly smaller scale, but this looks odd. Just doesn't look quite right. And yeah, the rest of it, you got a lot of episode 1, obviously going with the anniversary. It's quite quite episode 1 heavy. You got a really nice looking Droideka, Destroyer Droid, which looks at good value. It's about $59.99. And what else have you got? Your Darth Maul Infiltrator. You've got a Mos Espa Pod Race diorama to follow up with the dioramas they've done. And you've got a Trade Federation Troop Carrier. So yeah, they were the sort of highlights. Seems a little light, but we shall see if they sort of fill it out towards the autumn as we head towards Christmas.
There isn't anything in that lot that I particularly liked, but Harrison, he surprisingly wants that Black Falcon. So there's a kind of a dark side Falcon, and it comes with a dark side Jar Jar Binks and a dark side Rey, and I think a light side Vader, but it's all in black. Not for me, but I was really surprised at that. I want that. So it looks like he's going to be getting a dark side Falcon at some point in his future.
The Dark Falcon's a really weird one, isn't it? I mean, the Beach Luke, he reminds me of I can't think what the film is. The hippie bloke. Mine's blank. The Big Lebowski film. Yeah, that's what he reminds me of on there. Very, very strange kind of concept that, but I quite like all these scene things they've gone into. I mean, I've built the Speeder Chase on Endor recently, and they are great little sets. And that board in the Tantive looks like it's on that scale. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that one. That's good.
Yeah, so that I might dabble in that one on.
They did the Destroyer droid, didn't they, a few years back with Luke? That was a nice little set. So it's a similar. Yeah. It's a similar bit to that. You got moving parts, and you can ping figures out. So.
Anything you're tempted by, Jez, for your next little your nice big droidica?
Yeah, what did I see? I thought the Mos Espa Pod Race looked pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it looks alright for £70. The Dark Falcon was weird. What took my attention was the Advent calendar. £30 Advent calendar. It's okay. $29.99. Pre-order this item today, and it will ship from the 1st of September. It's Advent calendar. I don't care when it ships, mate, as long as it's here by December the 1st. Why put that on your website? It's just going to gather dust. Anyway, it's just one of those things. They've got it as a big thing on the website. Order it now, and it'll ship from September the 1st.
It is a very popular item, though. I've had a few of them. I always feel a little bit like shortchanged by them, to be fair, when you get like some random box.
It shows you everything you get, which is, I think it's a bit weird, isn't it? Because old Advent calendars back in the day, you never knew what you'd get. Would you get a robin? Would you get a present? Would you get a hawthorn bush with some holly? We're talking about pictures pre-chocolates, showing our age here. But you can see everything, all the different characters. A bit of Leia with her buns and a Christmas jumper. Ahsoka, naturally. Quite a lot of little ships, though. They look all right. £30. Yeah, I agree with Pete that feel in the past, we've had more. Doesn't seem anything really substantial.
My galaxy is the home of the most epic story ever told. But then I found the cornerstone, and everything changed. Listen up, Sig. There's only one way to say this. You messed up. You blew it. You goofed.
Jedi Pop, that's like 3 different ways.
When you removed the cornerstone, you created a new galaxy. Every person and every world will be different.
We've got to make everything go back to the way it was, because nothing makes sense.
It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!
I know who can help us. The greatest hero of all time, Luke Skywalker.
Let me see if I have this right. In your galaxy, my dad is mostly evil until he turns good for like 5 minutes and then dies. My own nephew betrays me and kills most of my best friends. And I spend decades alone until I use the Force so hard that it kills me?
Well, when he puts it that way.
There is no escape.
What in the...
Excuse me! Darth Jar Jar? Ridiculous. Oh, time to go!
X-Wing TIE Fighters? Ewok Bounty Hunters? You spend your life telling stories about heroes? Maybe it's time to be one.
Woohoo! Yeah!
This party's just getting started.
We're losing power! We're gonna crash! Scary, 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 scary!
The Force will guide us.
It will?
Here's hoping!
Oh, come on!
So that's all of the kind of general toys, but obviously we always have a little miscellaneous. There's tons of it. There was a few areas which I just wanted to touch on with you boys, and obviously one of our favourite things here is Tiki. Craig was the one that linked us all to Tiki, and I think it will always have a special place. So Daniel, Beeline Creative, San Diego Comic Con, Muglit announcements, Leia mugs, Jar Jar mugs. Can you just give us an overview?
Oh yeah, so when we visited Craig's house on May the 4th on that day, because obviously there's a lot going on with Star Wars on the May the 4th, Geeky Tiki announced a collaboration mug, which I think he alluded to when we recorded with him. Was it Christmas 2022? We done a show with Brandon from Beeline, and he started hinting at this Princess Leia because Craig was asking him when are we going to do a Princess Leia, and it's a collaboration with Tiki Tum, who's an artist and animation voice actor, and it's this beautiful Princess Leia. A little bit different from your standard Tiki mug. I'll read from the bit on the Tiki website so I don't overlook anything. Where it says, this is a special edition artist series by Paul Briggs, aka at Tiki Tum for Geeky Tiki. Paul Briggs is an American animator and voice actor. He is best known for working for Walt Disney Animation Studios as a co-director on Raya and the Last Dragon and supervising story on Frozen and Big Hero 6. Princess Leia Tiki mug is made from heavyweight stoneware ceramic and features a stunning depiction of Princess Leia Organa. Details of this mug are breathtaking, from her delicate facial expression down to the intricate pattern woven into her iconic hairstyle. The Tiki mug pays homage to the vintage mid-century modern era chalkware busts of yesteryear and features a beautiful matte finish with colour accents. And it is absolutely beautiful, this thing. So when we was at Craig, this went up for pre-order. There's only 500 pieces of this. Obviously with Tiki we can't import into the UK, but I contacted Brandon and we made a group purchase in true Craig fashion. So myself, Stu, Pete, as well as Mark Daniels and Kimberly all ordered one, and Brandon threw in an extra one for free. So at some point in the future, we will give that away and try and raise a little bit of money for charity. We'll just figure out how we're going to do that. But that is an absolutely beautiful piece. I know, Jez, you've got yours in hand as well. My wife and 2 stepdaughters thought it was fantastic. We've actually got it on the windowsill in the living room with a nice flower in her hair. So that's a very popular piece. Where is that? You got yours, is it?
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
It's a fantastic.
You've got yours on Dan's windowsill.
No,
yeah, that's right. So yeah, I've got mine in the I've got the centerpiece of a dining room table, which has got a little Lego Falcon, and it's got this Leia next to it, and it's just beautiful, and it's got a little flower in it.
Yeah, so thank you to Brandon for that, because it was class, and it was a great way. You know, when we was in the midst of celebrating Craig in his house and obviously getting Kimberly one as well. I think she said she was going to put it on her dressing table. It's a great way to remember Craig in a way that he had a fantastic Princess Leia displayed, didn't he, from A New Hope. So yeah, that was a great piece. So they had a few more of those for sale at San Diego Comic-Con as well. I think they kept some back for that. They sold out pretty quick. There was also a set of glassware, so some nice My Time mugs, glass mugs with various characters on. I think there was a Vader one, a Grogu, a Yoda, and a Jawa. They sold out pretty quick because Kimberly's went actually over there for it, but she didn't manage to snag any of those for me. But they did have some other sets as well. So they had 2 sets of mini muglets. One was Imperial themed, so they were like shrunk down versions of the full size Tiki mugs that they've done. So it was a Snow Trooper, a Shore Trooper, I think a TIE Fighter pilot, and I've lost it. What was the other one, Stu? Can you remember?
Like a Scout.
So they had those. They also had, and you'd like these two, Jez, they had a full-size Jar Jar Binks mug and a Watto mug. The Watto mug was pretty good. Yeah. And they had a second set of muglets that were exclusive as well with characters from the Ahsoka series. So they had Ahsoka, Hera, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and Sabine, yeah. So yeah, that was it. So some great stuff there. I know that Kimberly picked up some sets of mini muglets, so we might get hold of those. There was a nice T-shirt as well, a Vader Trader T-shirt. I think she's got me one of those as well. So look forward to getting some of these items in hand when she gets back.
Very nice.
You gonna fancy a Jar Jar Binks mug, Stu?
I did think it was quite a nice mug. Jez, also, Back to Black series and the Acolyte, whether you like it or not. I don't think many people can say the design of the Stranger was still pretty cool. They're doing a Black Series helmet of the Stranger.
Yeah, looks awesome. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks really smart. So that is coming out. Helmet retailing at approximately $99.99. This helmet is awesome. I don't know anyone who didn't think, oh, that's a bit sinister. That's a little bit different. It's straight away. It's going to be very iconic. There's not much to say on this. I'm interested in it. I think it looks great. $100 creepy as. But you got to be hench to wear it. Right? You got to look cool. You got to be fairly attractive, and you need to be the muscles from Brussels.
Okay, there you go. It is something that'll be on my radar, I think, if they're readily available over here. And Pete, you've got to give Jar Jar some loving in this country. Regal Robot concept maquette replica Jar Jar Binks. Tell me about this absolute stunning item. I know you've already got on order.
I knew you. Well, I was surprised to see this on the list, but I thought, well, this was probably right up your alley. So yes, it's available. I'm going to sort of read out a lot of it because I think it's pretty well detailed. But yeah, it's available in both a $400 signature edition and a $700 legacy edition. It's a brand new. It's a Jar Jar Binks concept maquette replica from Regal Robot. Everyone's favorite character from the Phantom Menace, and yeah, obviously it's celebrating the 25th anniversary of the movie. We've got this maquette replica, a signature edition, limited to just 75 pieces, each all hand painted, and there's a special legacy edition which will include an expanded plaque, which will have a one-of-a-kind sketch, all drawn by legendary ILM sculptor Tony McVeigh. The sketch is going to be 3 5/8 within a 5x7 frame. So McVeigh was part of the team on concept work for ILM in the Creature Shop for Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and he also went through to sort of work on the prequels and has also worked on Salacious Crumb and even Grogu. He's been involved on that, so he's a big name in that world. This thing's actually quite horrendous. Do you like it, Stu? Are you into it?
It's definitely not something I would purchase, especially with the money you're talking. I just found it, when I looked at it, looked quite realistic, quite kind of lizard-like and real. But then that's what Robot do.
Yeah, I guess it, because they did the was it the Max Rebo one when you had the whole body when at the same time, which is kind of out there. I guess if you're into that, because it's just before they get to the final sort of version of these characters, and I guess if you're into that sort of world, it does work. But this is it's a strange little thing. I thought it was actually bigger than it was. Only 7 inches tall on this, so they're fairly 7 inches tall.
Yeah, that is small, isn't it?
It's not as big as it sort of looks on the site. You expect a sort of a slightly larger item, but limited to 75. So I guess they're all sold out as well, both versions. So they're obviously You've got a following.
Yeah, they always have had. Yeah. Well, there's just a couple of things we just needed to cover. We won't go into too much stuff with miscellaneous unless you boys have seen anything else. But if not, move on. I want to go into something. Now, you might well have come across these, Jez, in your running. Have you ever done Conquerors Challenges?
Well, no. I think they've taken the idea from my ideas, because this is a virtual event series, and the Running Stormtrooper had 2 virtual event series over different distances.
They
it's
did.
The same concept.
So I've used Conquerors to make myself go and walk, especially the last year or 2 years. Their medals are quite amazing, actually. Now, I started the Lord of the Rings ones, and you have to do them in order. So you're doing the journey of the Fellowship to getting the ring destroyed. So you start, the first medal's called the Shire. It's the journey through the Shire, and you walk the same distance or run the same distance as what that part of the journey is, and that takes you up to Bree, where they make Aragorn. So the second medal takes you from Bree to Rivendell. Then you go through Moria and blah blah blah. So you're always doing it, and on each journey, every time you hit a milestone of something they did in the films or the books, whatever you're doing, you get a postcard explaining where you are on the journey. So they're really nice. I mean, the first medal for the Lord of the Rings ones is the medal's got on the back of it, it opens up and the ring's inside and you can take the ring out. They're real nice little medals. I've only done 2 of those, and then I moved on to the started doing the Game of Thrones ones, which there's 5 of again, but you can't do the Iron Throne medal until you've completed the other 4 journeys. So I'm currently in the middle of the Nemesis journey, and that's the longest medal. I thought I'll get that one out of the way. So I've already done 2 of them. But the medals are really nice. They're really intricate. There's always stuff on them. But recently they have just got Star Wars license. They've already had Scooby-Doo and stuff, and places you go around. So I did Easter Island, was the first ever Conquerors Challenge I did, because you boys, my sign you got me for my bar was based on Easter Island. So I thought it was that. You basically walk around the island and you see the postcards send you these things. But they've just got the Star Wars license, and the medals are nice. Now, you, like you just said, Jez, you've got your light up medals with your things. But these are they're really good quality. The Death Star Challenge one, I mean, it's got a little roller on the back, an X-Wing which moves up the back of the medal, and it makes the X-Wing, the Death Star, appear in front of the X-Wing on the front of the medal. So there's loads of little quirks to them. They're brilliant. You've got 6 medals in the series: the Death Star, the Rebel Alliance, Han Solo's Rescue, the Pod Race, the Jedi Order, and the Dark Side. I think the longest one was 340 kilometers to complete, and I think the shortest medal there was 96 kilometers, which was Han Solo's Rescue. But honestly, the medals are so nice. I honestly believe they're up your street, Jez.
They do look good.
They arrive within 2 days if you're finishing it. And it's quite interesting, actually, because you can get medal racks for these things.
Right.
But when I hit the 3rd medal on the Game of Thrones, so you could buy this rack, 30 quid or whatever it is. When I hit the 3rd medal, it's like, oh, you get the rack free if you just pay the postage. And my understanding from talking to people online, that if I hit the 3rd challenge on the Lord of the Rings, they'll throw me the rack in for free as well. So anybody who does go into these.
What's how much are you in for?
So if you're just doing like round the world ones, so they've got you can walk the length of the Great Wall of China. There's walks all around the world, so there's different. They vary. They're I think like 26 quid, but these ones for like Star Wars and stuff are £40 entry. You've got an app with it. You can see where you're going on the map. Like I said, you get these things. They guarantee to plant so many trees with every walk you do. You get a thing popping up, but they're long. They're not quick, So it's just good. I mean, they've got Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, Tomb Raider's now on there, so they're constantly getting good licenses. But
so does the app just trace your steps like a Garmin and a fitness?
No, mate. It's got all sorts on the app.
Oh, it does connect your smartwatch. So you can
connect. You can connect your smartwatch so it picks up what you're doing. I don't just have my general daily movement. I have to, so I upload mine, and only when I've done an actual activity. So it makes me go and walk, because I do quite a lot of movement during the day with my work. But yeah, no, they're well worth checking out. I'll put something on our social media as this comes out. But
they're good to get going. I remember, Jez, when I was doing the challenges you were doing, you say once you're in, you are so motivated to go and to do it, and you're sort of doing the frame grabs and sending them on, and then they send the little things with the sweets, and you just get in that vibe, don't you? And to get you out exercising, and it's just that, I don't know, it's that sort of childlike feeling, isn't it? You kind of like do a challenge and you get a reward. It's very kind of like pleasing.
The boxes do look good.
Lovely boxes. I mean, okay, let me just put my camera on for a minute with you boys, because I've got them here and I haven't got them out yet, which you'll be surprised to hear. So the Game of Thrones ones. So this is a Game of Thrones one. Come in these little boxes. This is the hand journey. So this was you follow Tyrion. But even so, the medals. Oh, I've just undone it all because it's still stuck in the box. But the medal, for example, on this one, it's all about the hand of the king. Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah.
So that lifts up. The medal lifts up, and it's got like the brooch comes out, which the hand would wear in Game of Thrones. So all the medals have got like these little. They are proper fancy little things. They're nice. Really do recommend them. And like, there's a massive community on there. But the app, the website, they're brilliant. Yeah, well worth checking out. I just thought now they've got Star Wars medals.
It's better than I thought. So 40 quid each, and you get the app and you get all that sort of stuff with it. And then they do a block of 3, or you can get all 6. So 3 is £107.49.
Yeah.
And all 6, 180 quid. Is that including postage and packaging?
Yeah. So it's all in the initial bundle. As you finish it, it just makes you confirm your address, and then I said to you, within about 48 hours, they arrive on your door.
One of the selling points is access to a £325,000 private Facebook group.
Yeah, it's pretty active. Yeah,
it's not a real selling point for me, really, that one.
No, I must admit I don't go on it either.
But the medals themselves, they do look pretty cool, actually.
Because the app is good because it does. The app's actually really user friendly. So many of these things aren't, but it is because you can go along where you've got to hit and whatnot, and it shows you all your targets, what you've done.
You don't do these concurrently. So this one, you've got the Death Star, Rebel Alliance. I like that one. I like the Death Star and the Rebel Alliance. I thought those two were great. Han Solo's Rescue Pod Race, Jedi Order. That one's pretty good. It's got the lightsaber.
So that's good. So that on the side there, you push the thing up and Yoda's lightsaber goes green.
And the dark side one. So a whole mix. So 140k, 340k, 96k, 225, 189, and 121. If you added all those up, if they come to,
it's just over 1100. It could be. I think you might be right, Jez. I think
I wonder if it's like 1,000 or something.
It's 1138.
38.
Yeah, let me just check on my calculator because as a quick one, then I was definitely around the 1100 mark. That would be quite
985. 985, I think. Let me 1111.
11111111.
Yeah. Okay. Missed a trick there, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you might find they might carry on now. They've got the license. I mean, they all do something. I mean, the back of the Han Solo Rescue is quite cool. That grate, so it's got a picture of Jabba with Salacious Crumb and 3PO, but then it's got the grate where the Rancor would be, but that actually slides up and there's the Rancors underneath it. Like the pod race, there's got like the engine bit that turns around.
Yeah.
That spins on the back. They've all got something on them that,
Yeah. Once you've signed up for them, is that you then locked in? Because some people will take a couple of years to do.
Yeah, there's no time limit on them. Okay. So yeah, you could just plot through it. Yeah, I keep bouncing. I haven't done a Star Wars one yet.
Damn it, that's good. I think you might have sold me.
Yeah, serious investment. A lot going on that website, isn't there?
Oh, honestly, I've used them now, and it's like they're so worthwhile. They're just good fun. If you just need a bit of motivation to get out the door, which I've needed this year, it does get me out walking. I'll get up in the morning and go and do 10-15k walk tomorrow. Early doors about 5:30, just to knock some off it. But
City one's nice as well. Tokyo one's nice.
They're well worth looking. If you download the app, all of the medals are on there. You can get them all through there anyway. Yeah, well worth having a look at.
Together again, huh?
Wouldn't miss it.
How we doing?
Same as always.
That bad, huh?
Right. Okay. Moving on from Conquerors. I think we've covered quite a lot on this show. So I just want to ask you, boys, before we go, is there any kind of like modern projects you think of doing? Or are you just quite content with how your modern collecting's going? Jez, is it just carrying on with your TVC as they come out?
Well, I want to know more about Power of the Force 2. I want to know more about the different lines. Now, so I'll break this down into two things. I missed the entire Power of the Force 2 thing when it came out. I was working really hard, running a shop, and then I joined the military when all that was happening. So I missed it all. I don't know much about it. And they're so accessible, price point wise, they're pretty cool. All these different sculpts, how long they went on for, different coloured cards. Then you've got the sort of expanded universe, the tri-logo ones, the different countries, the Europeans versus Americans. There's a whole world there. And I know that you know it. And yeah, there are other vintage collecting podcasts and there's other sort of more modern stuff. I'm not aware of anyone really specialising in Power of the Force 2. And I'd like to pull at that thread. So that's an area where I've got some Power of the Force 2, but I want to know more about it. and also I want to do a show where what I've tried to collect is an example of Saga, of Black Series original packaging, of this, of that, of all these different types of packaging which Disney have done, Hasbro have done, Kenner have done, one of each, just to say, hey, look, over the last more, let's say 28 years than, the full nearly 50 now, but this is an example of everything. We talk about, this was the Saga edition and this was this, and maybe one show saying, right, yeah, in 2001 you had this, in 2002 we had this, because I almost want like a checklist of stuff. So that's it for me. It's pulling a thread that modern is so interesting from my point of view, but Power of the Force definitely.
Well, I think, certainly from collecting, like you said, you can pick them up and they're out there, and it's amazing how cheap they are, and you can sort of put a run together. And I know, Stu, you went in heavy on Power of the Force 2 when it first came out, and so did I. I've still got a lot of that. So
it's something I've always returned to as well, because there is something. So it gets a bad rap, Power of the Force 2. People always go, muscle figures, but that was just a couple of waves of figures, and they changed it. There is some amazing sculpts, some amazing figures done in those lines that we never saw before, and we've not seen since either.
No, when you got to the freeze frame era, that era and just around then, they were nice. Those cards look nice as well, the freeze frame ones. So I've possibly got some unfinished business with there to finish a line off, but
I want to something that I'd be a little bit inspired from Craig. Actually, Craig always did those. He had that shelf, didn't he, telling all the Skywalker scenes from the films. But I quite fancy. So you've all both been in my room. I've got all those white units that run all the way down the left and round to the bar. Yeah, I fancy just emptying the top row of all of them and telling the story of the 9 films, going around there in figure form, but picking out the main scenes to buy toys of. So, like, trying to work out what are the major scenes in those 9 to tell the story. You could come in and just walk along the shelf, and it tells you that 9 story. So, yeah, might try and make some plans on that, and we maybe in the next show we can talk about what major scenes we all think needed to be included in there. But I think that's a project. I do quite fancy collecting all of the X-Wing pilots from all of the different modern eras in there loose on one shelf, because there's been some amazing people in X-Wing flight suits. Yeah, ideas. We will see. So the Modern Way boys, we've returned tonight after a year out. So what does the Modern Way look like going forward? We will have regular shows, like there's always been. And Jez has just asked the question. I'd love to learn about Power of the Force and all this kind of stuff. I think the specials are where it needs to be. I promised last time we recorded something to do with the Phantom Menace. I said I wanted to do a toy focus show on that. I still will do that. I think a 2-parter. And I've always had in my mind like a 6 to 8 part Power of the Force 2. I think Power of the Force 2 is such a big topic. So 6 to 8 1-hour shows, looking at the different areas and breaking it down, would be a really nice little side spin for the Modern Way. And maybe we can do that looking at all the different types of toy lines we've seen over the years. And I'd like to get some interviews. We're such vintage collectors in this thing that's what brought us all together. That's how we know each other. But get some interviews going with these massive modern collectors and designers and stuff, because it's an area we haven't touched on. So definitely something that I'd like to look at in the Modern Way. So Modern Way could be quite exciting coming up. So just watch this space with that. Boys, anything from you've seen tonight, what would you most buy add to your collection? Money, no object. What were you buying? Pete?
I think some of the vintage collection. I think there's 2, the Blurg and the where is it? The Armourer's Forge set. I think I'll definitely get those. They're 2 that I remember talking about the Blurg. I think one of the first shows I was on with you guys, we were talking about that, and I was like, why haven't they done that in the vintage collection? So I suspect I'll pick one of those up, and I think the Armourer is one of the strongest characters in the Mandalorian. So that's a nice looking set. So possibly picking those 2 up, I would have thought.
Nice, like that. Jez?
I think it'll be the Jar Jar maquette.
Yeah, okay. Even though you've got to buy that now.
Not really. I think of everything, it'll be the going back, just turning the clock back a couple of weeks and getting the Cantina. I think actually now I'm looking at it, total FOMO. I'm thinking, yeah, I could have found somewhere for that to go, and that could have been good fun. What about you?
Well, actually, two pieces that I probably will add is the Kit Fisto hot toy, and probably the Stranger Black Series helmet. I do like both of them.
Yeah, both really good.
Very nice.
And probably the Sith Inquisitor Dracula Halloween action figure. I might buy Jez one as a present. See what he's actually got there.
Oh, lovely.
But yeah. Well, so social medias, check us out on Facebook. We've got our Generation Skywalker page, but we also have the community page that is We Are Generation Skywalker. Come over there, give us a like and follow it, and get involved in the conversation. I will throw the question out on batteries. We will show some Conqueror stuff on there. We will show some of the other stuff we've spoken about. So definitely worth looking on there. Over on YouTube, go and search for Generation Skywalker. Give us a subscribe. There's still, although we're not enhancing everything now, there is plenty of like Skywalker Blast. There'll be unboxings and other bits of video. I'm sure there will still be the odd enhanced show when we get the opportunity. Instagram, you have got the Generations. Just search for Generation Skywalker. There is also links to Generation Skywalker Vintage and Modern. They've been a little bit quiet, the vintage and modern ones, but they will be ticking over a bit more regularly moving forward. And I wouldn't bother looking up our Twitter account. We're not really on there, so not worth your effort. Great to be back talking modern. Was just a bit of a catch-up show at 2.5 hours, but hey, that is a catch-up show. But looking forward to getting back into a bit of modern chat. So it is good night from Pete.
Nice one. Good night.
And it is goodbye from Daniel.
See you later.
Good night from Jez.
See you next time.
And it is good night from me. We're Generation Skywalker. All eras, all passions, all Star Wars.